Chapter 3169. Damn it, was the other party also a top genius? Thinking of this, the green-robed ancestor's face became incomparably cold. He opened his mouth and spat out a green fan again. This green fan was engraved with runes and carried an extremely terrifying corrosive power. As soon as it appeared, the void shattered, forming a huge black hole. Go to hell. This was a half-step sacred artifact, and at this moment he was using it to the extreme. Moreover, in addition to the power that was close to the Tao. In an instant, countless green poisonous winds danced rapidly and swept towards Ling Xian, as if they wanted to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian used his movement technique and moved back and forth in space. He was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he used the heavenly secret divine eye and the pleniline seed to quickly observe. He even took the risk and used his body to resist the power of the poison. It was a terrifying power that could poison everything. Even if there was no life, it could instantly corrode. Lin Xian was greatly enlightened. To be honest, he was now in the stage of comprehending the great Tao of heaven and earth, so he would not miss out on every fight with someone who had a power that was close to the Tao. Damn kid, if you have the ability, fight me head on. On the other side, the green-robed ancestor was going crazy with anger. The reason for that was because he discovered that the power he had unleashed had struck empty space, and had not managed to kill his opponent. The other party's speed was too strange. He actually could not hit the other party. This made him roar incomparably. However, Lin Xian did not care at all. This continued for a period of time. The green-robed ancestor was about to collapse. At this moment, Lin Xian retracted his gaze. He had already sensed enough and did not continue to comprehend. Because the power of poison was not what he needed. He only needed to understand it. Next, it was time to understand it. Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a biting cold light. With a cold shout, a few black runes rushed out of his body. They were very strange and flew above the poisonous gas. Immediately, the poison gas melted like ice and quickly disappeared. Damn it! How was this possible? The green-robed ancestor was stunned. What was going on? His poison gas could corrode everything. But now, his poison gas was actually corroded. What was this? Could it be that the other party had mastered an even more powerful poison? What kind of poison could be more powerful than the power of the Tao? Annihilation Sword Lotus. Lin Xian struck out with his sword qi. Combined with the power of annihilation, it formed a sword qi lotus and enveloped the area in front of him. Damn it, get out of my sight. The green-robed old ancestor used his semi-sage tool to fight against it. Half-saint tool? Lin Xian was shocked. No wonder the other party was so arrogant. Not only had he comprehended a power that was close to the Tao, but he also had a powerful half-step sacred tool. Thinking of this, his figure flashed and he instantly appeared in front of his opponent, throwing out a punch. With a loud boom, the punch landed on his opponent's body. The green-robed ancestor's body was smashed into pieces. Green blood splattered in all directions and a miserable cry rang out. The green-robed ancestor hurriedly controlled the half-step sage artifact to protect his body and reassemble it. In the next moment, his face turned incomparably pale. Damn it, I'm going to kill you. As if he had gone mad, he used the half-step sage artifact to the extreme and even burned his spiritual energy. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stretched out a large golden hand and directly grabbed the half-step sage artifact, firmly locking it in place. His other palm struck out with the Annihilation Sword Lotus once again and pushed it forward. Boom. This time, the Annihilation Sword Lotus completely enveloped the green-robed ancestor. Then, the green-robed ancestor disappeared into thin air. He was dead. In the distance, Haiyu looked at this scene and her body trembled. The green-robed ancestor's soul didn't even manage to escape. He was killed just like that? This was impossible. She finally screamed crazily. She was really on the verge of collapse. That was a power that was close to the Tao. How terrifying. It had completely surpassed the king level. But now he was actually killed so easily. Who was this young man in front of her? Lin Xian turned his head to look at Haiyu. With a plop, Haiyu knelt on the ground, her body trembling. Young Master Lin, please spare my life. Haiyu was really scared. Even a powerful figure like the green-robed ancestor was killed, let alone her. Lin Xian said coldly. Where are the spiritual herbs I want? They're here. They're all here. Haiyu hurriedly took out a storage ring. Lin Xian stretched out a golden hand. After receiving the storage ring, his soul entered it. Then he kept it. He glanced at Haiyu and directly pierced through his forehead with his sword. Haiyu fell weakly, her eyes wide open. It seemed that she didn't expect Lin Xian to kill her without saying anything. Next it was the Wan clan. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He had already sensed that the flame restriction left in Hai Yu and Wang Gang's body was gone. This was also the reason why they dared to resist. Thinking about it, Wang Gang should be the same. But so what? Lin Xian's figure flashed and quickly flew towards the Wan clan. Ever since the flame in Wang Gang's body was removed, he was completely relieved. Now his life was finally in his hands. However, this made him clench his teeth. As a genius of the Tiangang sect, when had he ever been threatened like this? Therefore he couldn't wait to tear Lin Xian into pieces. Wang Gang planned to use the power of his family to find Lin Xian, but he didn't expect Lin Xian to take the initiative to come to him. When Wang Gang saw Lin Xian in the Wan clan, he was shocked. But soon he revealed a sinister expression. "Damn brat, you actually dare to come here?" Lin Xian looked calm. "Where are the spiritual herbs I want? Have you prepared them? Brat, you're courting death. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me to gather spiritual herbs for you? How dare you put a flame restriction on me? Today I'll make sure you don't leave." Wang Gang's expression was sinister. "How dare you be arrogant in front of me? It seems that your Wan clan isn't much. You're not well informed at all. If you knew the reaction of the other clans, I'm afraid you wouldn't dare to talk to me like this now." Hearing this, Wang Gang frowned. What's going on? Could it be that the Shin clan and the Hai clan had surrendered? What a joke. Although Lin Xian had some relations with the Bloody Blade Monarch, how could he make such a big clan submit? This brat must be playing tricks. Wang Gang snorted coldly. "Brat, don't waste your breath. If you dare to come here today, I'll make sure you don't leave. Men, take him down." With a roar, the surrounding martialists of the Wan clan rushed over in a frenzy. "Young master, what's going on?" Wang Gang's status in the Wan clan was similar to Qin Rufeng's. They were both sons of the patriarch. Therefore his status was very precious. Hearing the order, the martialists of the Wan clan appeared one after another. Wang Gang pointed at the figure in the field and said, "Capture him. I want him alive. I want to torture him for 1,000 years." Chapter 3170. They frowned. What's going on? How did this kid get in? They had no idea. However, at this moment their young master had already spoken, so they had to act. "You guys go and take him down," a middle-aged man said in a deep voice. Immediately, 3 martial artists walked up. Their chi and blood surged in their bodies. With a monstrous power they enveloped Lin Xian. "You're courting death." Lin Xian snorted. Dozens of sword chi rushed out from his body and turned into a ray of light that shrouded the entire space. Ping ping ping. The 3 martial artists who attacked were instantly beheaded. Not only that, the surrounding martial artists were all pierced through by the sword chi and nailed to the void. They let out miserable cries as their eyes were filled with horror. An expert. This was a peerless expert. He could pierce through dozens of them in an instant. Such a person was too terrifying. They wanted to scream, but the sword chi still wiped out their lives. The only one who survived was Wang Gang. But Wang Gang was also nailed to the void by 5 sharp swords. Blood flowed out and dyed his body red. Ah! Wang Gang let out a miserable cry. His scalp was about to explode. How could the other party be so terrifying? To be honest, he knew that the other party had some ability to make Bloody Blade Monarch submit, but he did not expect the other party to be so strong. The other party killed dozens of his guards in an instant, and even pierced through him. He cultivated the Heaven Star body. It was so powerful. But in front of the other party, it was as fragile as a piece of paper. "Father, save me." Wang Gang screamed like a madman. He knew that the person in front of him was not someone he could fight against. He had to call for the real experts. Boom boom boom. After all, the Wan clan was a large clan. Therefore, the news of what happened here spread throughout the Wan clan. Whoosh. 7 or 8 figures descended. Each of them was extremely old and brought about a powerful storm. They were the elders of the Wan family. When they came down, they saw dozens of martial artists' corpses on the ground. Their pupils constricted. Damn it! Someone dared to kill people from the Wan family? When they saw Wang Gang being nailed to the void with blood flowing out, they instantly screamed. "Young master!" Wang Gang's identity was precious. He was the son of the Wan family head. If there were no accidents, he would be the next Wan family head. But now, he was actually beaten to such a state. Nailed to the void. Damn it, who is it? It was this brat. When they saw Lin Xian, the 7 elders were instantly enraged. "Go kill him." A large hand, like a purple cloud of fire, covered the sky and enveloped the other party. A black long sword, exuding a biting cold killing intent, shattered the void as soon as it appeared, and pierced toward Lin Xian's head. A long saber cut through the void as if it was going to cut Lin Xian in half. In an instant these people attacked as if they had gone crazy. Boom. Lin Xian also made a move. A golden fist punched into the void. With a loud bang, the purple flaming hand was shattered. The black longsword shattered into pieces, and the berserk saber broke into two halves. The entire void exploded, and the 7 elders were instantly reduced to a bloody mist. Boom. This strike formed a huge black hole in the sky as if it was connected to hell. Dead. The 7 elders were all dead. Wan Gong, who was at the side, widened his eyes. His lower body was wet from fear. To be honest, he never thought that the other party would be so powerful. Those were 7 elders. They couldn't even block a single punch from the other party? At this moment, the people who rushed over also saw this scene. They were instantly stunned on the spot, their bodies trembling. Demon. What kind of person is this? Not good. Hurry up and alert the others. Everyone screamed. The Wan family let out a loud bell, which would only be sounded when a life-and-death enemy came. They didn't expect that the Wan family would let out such a bell again after a few hundred years. A few hundred years ago, when a strong enemy came, the Wan family also had such a situation. In the end, the Wan family settled it. They didn't expect it to happen again after a few hundred years. All the experts of the Wan family opened their eyes and rushed over. The surrounding formations lit up and the killing formations shot into the sky. It could be said that the Wan family had become an impenetrable fortress. The patriarch of the Wan family even rushed over with the 10 elders. Father. When Wan Gong saw the patriarch of the Wan family, he screamed crazily. Father. Save me. Kill him. You must kill him. The patriarch of the Wan family's face instantly turned gloomy, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. The 10 elders also gasped. Let Wan Gong go. Roars sounded like thunder from the 9 heavens, shattering the void. Buzz. Lin Xian's body emitted a light that suppressed the world. All the energy was blocked by him. Kid, let him go. Kneel down and accept your death. Cold shouts could be heard. How dare you behave atrociously in the Wan family? You're courting death. No one can provoke the Wan family. You'll definitely die. The Wan family can't be humiliated like this. The Wan family can't be humiliated? What about me? Can I be humiliated? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. The strong couldn't be humiliated either. Wan Gong provoked me, so he'll definitely die. Don't tell me you don't understand this logic? Lin Xian looked ahead. Hearing this, the patriarch of the Wan family and the 10 elders' pupils constricted. At the next moment they snorted. Kid, what kind of expert are you? That's right, in front of the Wan family you're just an ant. Am I not an expert? Lin Xian sneered. At the next moment, his eyes shone and his figure disappeared. Not good. These people rushed out of their king domains as if they were facing a great enemy. Man. Kill him. The patriarch of the Wan family roared. However, at the next moment they screamed. That was because a figure appeared in front of them. The sword chi emitted from his body was like a divine sword that pierced through them. Their king domains and battle armors were like pieces of paper. They couldn't withstand it at all. In an instant, the thousands of experts of the Wan family were all pierced through. As for the 10 elders, they were all killed by Lin Xian with a single punch. Bang. Half of the patriarch of the Wan family's body was shattered. He gritted his teeth and used a secret technique to dodge. After one attack, Lin Xian stood in the field. There was no one around him. Thousands of experts and 10 elders had all turned into a bloody mist. In the distance, more cultivators saw this scene and trembled. They directly knelt on the ground. The Wan family still had people, but they were much weaker than the thousands of experts from before. Even the 10 elders were killed in an instant, let alone them. Therefore, in an instant everyone felt despair. Wan Gong was even more dumbfounded. His brain felt as if it had been struck by lightning. Impossible. Damn it. Impossible. The 10 elders? Where are you? The patriarch of the Wan family roared crazily. He discovered that the 10 elders were dead. Thousands of experts of the Wan family had died. How could he bear this? The Wan family relied on these people to support them. But now they were all gone. What would happen to the Wan family in the future? Damn it, how could this kid be so terrifying? The patriarch of the Wan family looked at Lin Xian, his body trembling. In the next moment, his expression became ferocious. Kid, I want you to die. Chapter 3171. A small red cauldron rushed out from the top of his head and shook in the sky. Endless runes enveloped the entire Wan family. In the next moment, in the depths of the Wan family, there was a loud bang and two thunderous roars. Then, a terrifying power like a vast ocean came from afar. Feeling this power, the Wan family warriors kneeling in the distance all raised their heads. The Grand Elders had come out of seclusion. The Grand Elders were coming. That kid was definitely dead. Wan Gong also came back to his senses and became excited. Kid, just wait for your death. Our Grand Elders have comprehended the power that is close to the Tao. You definitely won't be able to resist them. The Wan family's patriarch shouted and welcomed the two Grand Elders. The two Grand Elders, one tall and one short, their clothes fluttered in the wind, carrying a powerful and mysterious power. As soon as they appeared, they bent the void. They looked at the mess below and were instantly enraged. Their aura erupted like a volcano, shooting into the sky. Damn it, who is it? How dare you kill the experts of my Wan family? Naturally, he could sense that over 1,000 experts had been wiped out. The surrounding blood carried a monstrous aura, causing the two Grand Elders to tremble all over. It's him. It's this kid. Two Grand Elders, please make your move. The Wan family's patriarch pointed forward. What a young man. In the sky, the two Grand Elders of the Wan family stared at Lin Xian, and their pupils shrank to the size of needles. They thought that a top old monster had come to their Wan family, but they didn't expect it to be a young man. Kid, go to hell. One of the Grand Elders roared. Kid, go to hell. The taller Supreme Elder let out a furious roar, shattering the void in all directions. Above his head, a star appeared. It floated up and down like the moon, and as soon as it appeared, it crushed the sky. The Wan family's patriarch retreated frantically and set up a formation to envelop the remaining people of the Wan family. He wanted to save Wan Gong, but he couldn't get close at all, so he could only give up. Now he could only place his hopes on the two Grand Elders. He wasn't particularly worried. The two Grand Supreme Elders had both comprehended powers that were close to the Tao. One of them was the tall Grand Supreme Elder, who had comprehended the power of the stars. The other short Grand Elder is also very terrifying. He has comprehended the power of ice. At this moment, the stars in the sky flickered as if it was a real world of stars. It was incomparably vast, and a terrifying power surged towards Lin Xian. Die, brat. The tall Supreme Elder revealed a ferocious expression. Even a peak king would not be able to withstand such power. Only a half-saint would be able to withstand it. Boom. The space where Lin Xian was standing instantly shattered, forming an incomparably deep black abyss. Was over? The short Grand Elder sneered. The others all let out a sigh of relief. Was this the power of a Grand Elder? Too frightening. Even such a terrifying Devil King was crushed in one move. Well, he was already dead. The Wan clan suffered heavy losses and needed to be reorganized. The tall Supreme Elder said in a clear voice. His body slowly descended, but as soon as he landed on the ground, he was stunned. All the hair on his body stood on end, because a figure walked out of the black hole in front of him. Was this your power that was close to the Tao? It was just SOSO. What? He wasn't injured? How was this possible? The tall Supreme Elder instantly soared into the sky, his eyes filled with shock. The other short Grand Elder was the same. The two of them were completely stunned. The faces of the Wan clan members in the distance were ashen, and they fell into despair once again. Was he still human? After being smashed by a star that was close to the Tao, his body and soul should have been destroyed long ago. But there wasn't even a single crack on his body. What kind of physique was this? Perhaps even the top Big Dipper body of the Big Dipper sect couldn't compare to him. Brat, who are you? The tall Supreme Elder asked in shock. He realized that the other party was too strong. It was beyond his expectations. Such a person must have an extraordinary background. Lin Xian said arrogantly. You don't have the right to know my name. Now you should feel my power that is close to the Tao. He clenched his fist and punched out with the power of annihilation. Boom, boom, boom. Wherever it passed, the void was quickly annihilated. Not good. Feeling this power, the tall Supreme Elder's pupils constricted. He quickly blocked the star in front of him. At the same time, he frantically retreated. With a boom, the power of the star was directly turned into nothingness and disappeared in the void. What kind of power was this? It could actually dissolve my star power. The tall Supreme Elder was stunned. This brat had also comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. And it was very strong. It was very strange. Boss, let's attack together. He looked at the short Supreme Elder. The short Supreme Elder nodded. In the next moment, the two of them stood out. One was the power of the stars, the other was the power of ice. Two powers that were close to the Tao spread in the void and then attacked Lin Xian. Go to hell for me. This time they were full of confidence. Sword. Lin Xian shouted coldly. The power of annihilation formed a pitch-black demonic sword that emitted a monstrous light. With a slash of the sword, the power of the stars was destroyed. With another slash, the power of ice also quickly faded away. Buzz. At the same time, a red light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. With a boom, the two supreme elders screamed. Their bodies burned fiercely as the flames engulfed them. Damn it! Increase the pressure. The short supreme elder screamed crazily and urged the power of ice to suppress the flames. But he realized that he could not do it at all. How was this possible? His power of ice was close to the Tao. What kind of flames could not extinguish? Unless it was a flame that was close to the Tao. Moreover, that power was even more terrifying than his power of ice. Damn it, who was this brat? They were stunned. Boom. With a loud bang, the tall supreme elder self-detonated. He wanted to escape the flames, but he was still unable to do so. Lin Xian's power of fire was close to the law fragment. It was far from what the two supreme elders could resist. Therefore, in the endless screams, the two supreme elders turned into ashes. Dead. The Wan family head's eyes were about to pop out. The other warriors of the Wan family fainted from shock. Wan Gong was trembling all over. He was once again killed to the point of peeing his pants. Those were two supreme elders. They had mastered two powers that were close to the Tao. How powerful. But now, they were easily killed by the other party. Who was this person? He actually provoked such a demon king. Thinking of this, Wan Gong was extremely regretful. The Wan family head's face was also filled with despair. Now he wished he could kick his son to death. This was an extremely terrifying demon king. It was very likely that the entire Wan family would be destroyed. Chapter 3172. Oh. The patriarch of the Wan family roared crazily. He wanted to beg for mercy. But he knew that the chances were slim. Experts had dignity. If someone came to the Wan family to behave atrociously, he would definitely destroy their entire family. Therefore the other party would not spare them either. Just as the Wan family was in despair, the jade pendant on Wan Gang's body suddenly shone. In the next moment Wan Gong cried out excitedly. Eldest senior brother is nearby. This jade pendant was the communication treasure of the Tiangang sect's core disciples. The eldest senior brother that Wan Gong mentioned was the top disciple of the Tiangang sect, the number one genius, Gao Peng. Therefore, when he sensed the jade pendant's reaction, Wan Gong sent a voice transmission crazily. Eldest senior brother. Save me. Someone wants to kill me. Wan Gong was very nervous. He looked at Lin Xian, afraid that Lin Xian would kill him at this time. However, he was stunned because Lin Xian did not kill him at all, nor did he stop him. He seemed to have tacitly approved of this. Damn it, what's going on? Isn't this kid afraid? How is that possible? No matter how strong he is, he can't beat eldest senior brother. Eldest senior brother is someone who can contend with the Nether King. Is Gao Peng coming? The patriarch of the Wan family and the other warriors of the Wan family regained hope in their eyes. Gao Peng was the number one genius of the Tiangang sect. How powerful was he? Although he had lost the battle at Tianqiong Peak, it was a glorious defeat. His reputation also swept across the entire Return Cloud planet very quickly. Although Wan Gong was young, only 500 years old, his strength might be even more powerful than the two Grand Elders. Thinking of this, the Wan family members became excited. As expected, not long after, a figure descended from the sky. It was a young man with a tall figure and a strong physique. There was a mysterious aura on his body. He descended on the Wan family like a god fiend. But after landing, he frowned. The Wan family was too tragic. The entire Wan family was torn apart. There was blood everywhere, and it was still surging in the sky, emitting ghostly wails and wolf howls. It was obvious that a fierce battle had taken place here. Eldest senior brother, you're here. Save me. When Wan Gong saw that figure, he immediately shouted excitedly. The head of the Wan family hurried over to greet young Master Gao. Please save my Wan family, young Master Gao. Gao Peng frowned. Who is it? How dare he be so presumptuous? To be honest, Wan Gang's identity was really not ordinary. Speaking of which, he was Gao Peng's junior brother. He was also the closed-door disciple of the Tiangang sect's sect leader. The sect master of the Heavenly Dipper sect was very fond of him. Therefore, as the eldest senior brother, Gao Peng naturally had to take care of him. Seeing Wan Gong nailed to the ground and the Wan clan in ruins, Gao Peng was enraged. Not to mention the Wan clan's identity, Just the fact that Wan Gong was a member of the Heavenly Dipper sect was enough for him to not interfere. In the next moment he turned his head and stared at the figure in front of him. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Phew. Before he could finish his sentence, he saw Lin Xian's face in the next moment. He was stunned, and the murderous aura that filled the air quickly disappeared. "It's you?" This time, Gao Peng's voice had changed. "What? You want to attack me?" Lin Xian said indifferently. "I wouldn't dare." Gao Peng hurriedly lowered his head and greeted young Master Lin. "What?" Seeing this, the head of the Wan family and Wan Gong were all stunned. What's going on? They felt as if they were dreaming. Their hope, Gao Peng, was actually bowing to Lin Xian? How could this be? They felt as if they had been struck by lightning. "Oh, you know me?" Lin Xian smiled faintly. Gao Peng lowered his head even more. Naturally, after the battle at Tianqiong Peak, young Master's name had spread throughout the entire cloud-returning planet. Who didn't know him? To be honest, Gao Peng was a proud and confident person. However, in front of Lin Xian he couldn't raise his head at all. He had no choice. The scene at Tianqiong Peak was still deeply imprinted in his mind. He probably wouldn't be able to escape from Lin Xian's shadow for the next 1,000 years. Lin Xian was someone who could easily defeat the Nether King. If he wanted to kill him, it would be a piece of cake. How dare Wan Gong and the Wan family provoke such a person? They even wanted to drag him down with them? Thinking of this, Gao Peng was furious. "Young Master Gao," the head of the Wan family said softly. Gao Peng shouted coldly, "Shut up." The head of the Wan family was shocked. He shuddered and quickly shut up. Wan Gong, who was beside him, said, "Eldest senior brother, what's going on? Help me take revenge. He's the murderer." Gao Peng stood up and directly slapped Wan Gong to the ground. Half of Wan Gang's body was smashed. He fell to the ground with a dumbfounded expression. "Eldest senior brother, why did you hit me? Help me take revenge. I'm your junior brother." "Shut up. I don't have a junior brother like you." Gao Peng shouted coldly. "How dare you offend young Master Lin? It wouldn't be too much even if you died 100 times. Who is he? Who exactly is he? Eldest senior brother, why are you afraid of him? You're a top genius." Wan Gong screamed crazily, but soon he was slapped again. Gao Peng said coldly, "If you want to die, don't drag me down with you. Young Master Lin is so powerful. I'm naturally not his opponent, and I don't dare to be his enemy." Gao Peng snorted coldly when he saw the head of the Wan family and Wan Gang's blank faces. They were indeed a small family. They didn't even know who the other party was. If the two of them knew, they wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. Gao Peng said coldly, "Do you know about the battle at Tianqiong Peak?" The two of them nodded silently. Gao Peng continued. "In the battle at Tianqiong Peak, young Master Lin defeated the Nether King and became famous. How dare you offend young Master Lin? Hurry up and kowtow and admit your mistake." "What?" The head of the Wan family and Wan Gong were stunned. In the battle at Tianqiong Peak, the other party defeated the Nether King? How could this be? The one who defeated the Nether King was Lin Wudi. Wait, young Master Lin? Lin Wudi? In the next moment, the two of them shuddered. "You're Lin Wudi." Now, even if they were stupid, they knew. Thinking of this, their faces were filled with despair. Lin Wudi. They actually offended Lin Wudi. No wonder the other party was so powerful. He killed most of the Wan family's elites with a raise of his hand. No wonder Gao Peng had to be careful when he saw the other party. This was Lin Wudi. He was the supreme being who defeated the Nether King. The Nether King was so terrifying. He appeared for a few days and suppressed the Cloud Return planet's elites until they couldn't breathe. Even Gao Peng was defeated by him. That was such a powerful genius, but he was easily defeated by Lin Wudi. One could imagine how terrifying Lin Wudi was. In the next moment, the two of them hurriedly knelt on the ground and kowtowed non-stop. "Lord Lin Wudi, we were wrong. Please spare the Wan family." Yes, I'm not Mount Tai. I deserve to die." Wan Gong also kowtowed non-stop. His head was bleeding. However, he still didn't dare to raise his head. Chapter 3173. Lin Xian said calmly with his hands behind his back. "I can spare the rest of the Wan clan, but the two of you will definitely die." Hearing this, the people in the distance heaved a sigh of relief. The head of the Wan clan and Wan Gong trembled, and their eyes were filled with despair. Gao Peng kept his head down, not daring to show any dissatisfaction. Lin Xian waved his hand, and two balls of flames enveloped the two of them, burning them to ashes. Wan Gong and the head of the Wan clan didn't even have the time to scream before they were killed. At this time Lin Xian said coldly. The Wan clan can be spared from death, but they can't escape punishment. I'll take all your clan's savings. Do you have any objections? In the distance, the warriors of the Wan clan knelt on the ground and said respectfully. No. How could they resist? The fact that Lin Xian didn't kill them was already the greatest kindness to them. As for the resources, they didn't dare to think about it now. Good. Lin Xian nodded. Then, countless golden hands rushed out of his body and took away all the resources and elixirs collected by the Wan clan. Then Lin Xian flew up and left the Wan clan. After Lin Xian left, Gao Peng heaved a sigh of relief. It was too scary. Facing Lin Xian was like facing the ancestors of the Tiangang sect. Lin Xian was unfathomable and he couldn't even breathe. But fortunately, this malefic star was finally gone. In the next moment he also flew up, not even looking at the Wan clan. The remaining people of the Wan clan heaved a sigh of relief. They felt like they had just survived a disaster. However, no one noticed that the endless blood in the ruins of the Wan clan had flowed to the ground, leaving nothing behind. Deep in the ground, a shriveled, mummified figure was wrapped in endless blood. In the next moment he opened his eyes and a piercing light burst out, piercing through the void. Blood. I need more blood. Not enough. I can feel the screams of my descendants. And the screams. I want revenge. In the next moment, the bodies of those who were still alive in the ruins of the Wan clan suddenly split open and turned into a bloody mist. Then it sank into the ground. This scene was so sudden that the people of the Wan family didn't even have time to react. They didn't even have time to scream before they were all dead. In the depths of the earth, the shriveled, corpse-like figure let out a devilish laugh. Lin Xian left the Wan family. As he flew, he sent his soul spirit into the black earth and began to organize the spirit medicines he had obtained. To be honest, he had already collected almost all of them. There were still a few left and he thought that the Qi clan would be able to help him. After treating the Shi family's old ancestor, he should be able to concoct the breakthrough Saint pill. Thinking of this, Lin Xian felt a burst of excitement. He wondered how the Qi clan's collection was going. Lin Xian then returned to Tianfang Pavilion. Tianfang Pavilion. Qi Xiu was still waiting. When she heard that Lin Xian had returned, she heaved a sigh of relief. She thought that Lin Xian had left again. After Lin Xian found her, he asked, "How's the Qi clan's collection going?" "Young Master Lin, I was just about to talk to you about this." Qi Xiu said anxiously, "We've already collected 90% of them. There are still some spirit medicines left, and we should be able to complete it in a month's time." "All right." Lin Xian nodded. "I'll go into seclusion first. Call me when it's time." Lin Xian walked into the depths of Tianfang Pavilion and began his seclusion. This time he didn't comprehend the Tao of heaven and earth. Instead, he cultivated directly to raise his cultivation. The pill sage's notes didn't only contain the breakthrough Saint pill, but also countless other elixirs. Lin Xian found a few that were suitable for him and concocted 10 cauldrons of them. After obtaining the Purple Abyss cauldron, Lin Xian's success rate and speed in concocting elixirs had increased tremendously. In addition, he had abundant spirit medicines and resources. Hence, concocting elixirs was effortless. Soon, 10 cauldrons of elixirs were concocted. Lin Xian swallowed all the elixirs. Boom! A rumbling power erupted from his body. Lin Xian circulated the longevity incantation and absorbed the elixirs with all his might. A month's time passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Qi Xiu ran into the depths of Tianfang Pavilion excitedly. She sent a voice transmission. "Young Master Lin, it's done. My Qi family has collected all the spirit medicines." After receiving the voice transmission, Lin Xian opened his eyes. The surging power in his body was like the waves of the sea. Then he retracted it. Peak stage. Lin Xian exhaled and stood up. He had absorbed all the elixirs that he had concocted previously. These elixirs were all ancient spirit medicines. In addition, he had used precious spirit medicines to concoct them. The effect was surprisingly good. It actually allowed him to reach the peak stage of the 9-star realm in one go. Now, Lin Xian was only one step away from reaching the half-step saint realm. However, this step was like a natural chasm that stopped countless prodigies. One had to know that there were many peak stage 9-star powerhouses in the world. However, those who could successfully cross this step and reach the half-step saint realm were few and far in between. It could be said that they were rare existences. After all, a large family like the Wan family could dominate a region with 2 people who had comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. If they had another half-step saint, their strength would definitely be even more terrifying. However, it was extremely difficult to become a half-step saint. To become a half-step saint, it was not something that could be solved with time. Some people had even used 2,000 years and still failed to successfully cross that step. Now Lin Xian was finally facing this step. However, he was very confident. Not to mention that he had already comprehended two powers that were close to the Tao, one of which was very close to the precept fragment. In addition, his physical body had reached the half-step saint realm. Coupled with the breakthrough sage pill, his cultivation level could increase to the half-step saint realm. At that time he would have 1 foot in the precept fragment. As long as he comprehended the precept fragment, he would become a true half-step saint. After that, his strength would undergo an earth-shattering increase. Thinking of this, Lin Xian was incomparably excited. Now that Lin Xian used the power of fire and the great dragon sword soul, he was confident that he could fight a half-step saint. When he became a true half-step saint, how terrifying would his power be? He did not dare to imagine. With a wave of his sleeve, Lin Xian removed the array and walked out. "Young Master Lin, you're finally out." Qi Xiu was waiting anxiously outside. When she saw Lin Xian come out, she was delighted. The next moment she exclaimed, "Young Master Lin, your aura." "What's wrong?" Lin Xian asked. "No, I feel that you're different." Qi Xiu carefully sensed but found that she still could not see the depth of Lin Xian's aura. However, she felt that Lin Xian's aura was more mysterious than before. Could it be that young Master Lin broke through again? Thinking of this possibility, she was extremely surprised and then shook her head. "No way, how long has it been? He can break through again?" She had never heard of such a cultivation speed. Lin Xian said, "Since the collection was completed, let's go." He put his hands behind his back and walked out. Chapter 3174. The Tianfang Pavilion was a subordinate of the Qi family, so there was a teleportation array inside. Soon the two arrived at the Qi family. The elders of the Qi family were waiting anxiously. When they saw Lin Xian and Qi Xiu, they surrounded them. "Xiu, you're back. Young Master Lin, can we start now?" These people were excited. "Young Master Lin, how confident are you?" To be honest, they weren't 100% confident until now. Because Lin Xian was too young. He was so young that they couldn't believe it. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was extremely calm. "Give me the spiritual medicine." Soon someone brought them over. Lin Xian waved his hand and the spiritual herbs floated in the air. He scanned them with his soul and nodded slightly. "That's right, these are the spiritual herbs. Now I'm going to refine the pills. I'll prepare a secret room for young Master Lin," Qi Xiu said. Lin Xian shook his head. "There's no need. It's fine here. I'll set up a few arrays. You guys stay far away. No matter what happens, don't disturb me." "He's going to refine pills in public?" a few people in the crowd exclaimed. Lin Xian turned around and saw Pill King He Tu, Pill King Black Feather, and Pill King Red Lotus. Other than them, there were many alchemists who came because of Lin Xian's reputation. After all, Lin Xian claimed that he could cure the Qi family's patriarch's injury. It had caused a stir in the alchemy world. Countless alchemists rushed over. They couldn't believe it. They had to see it with their own eyes. Pill King He Tu, Pill King Black Feather, and Pill King Red Lotus had arrived long ago. When they heard that Lin Xian was going to refine pills in public, they were very excited. This way they would be able to see the depth of Lin Xian's alchemy skills. The other alchemists were also discussing. This kid was too young. How old was he? How could he cure the Qi family's patriarch? Could he be a liar? Who cares? If he's going to refine pills in public, we'll be able to see it soon. If he doesn't do it well, the Qi family will teach him a lesson. How could he do it well? This young man must be boasting. One had to know that even a half-step alchemy sage could not refine it well, let alone him. The elders of the Qi family frowned when they heard those words. To be honest, they were also very worried. After all, these spiritual herbs were very precious, and their Qi family had paid a high price for them. If they failed, then not only would their old ancestors' injuries not be healed, they would also have wasted so many precious spirit herbs. However, they had no other choice now. They could only place all their hopes on Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't care about what those people were thinking. He ordered Qi Xiu to let the surrounding people quickly retreat and make an empty space. Lin Xian raised his hand and formed a formation that enveloped him. He took a deep breath and a cold light burst out from his eyes. With a flip of his hand, a purple cauldron appeared in the air. Purple Abyss Cauldron. The surrounding alchemists all cried out in surprise. Their eyes lit up. Was this a pill cauldron that had been used by a half-step saint? He had actually obtained it. For such a precious cauldron to be in his hands, it was truly a waste of God's gift. Some alchemists were extremely unwilling. However, there were also some top alchemy kings who said coldly, "Waste of God's gift?" That wasn't necessarily true. Don't forget that he too, Danyu and Red Lotus, the three of them couldn't defeat him. One could imagine that he was definitely an expert. If you want to snatch the cauldron, think about your own fate first. When those words came out, it was as if a basin of cold water had been poured over everyone, and they all came to their senses. That's right. 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings couldn't do anything to him. They would be cannon fodder if they went up. Of course, there were also some who were unconvinced. Among them, a few Tier 9 Pill Kings snorted. So what if he's strong? We alchemists compete in alchemy skills. Let's see what qualifications this kid has to dare to say that he can cure the Qi family's old ancestor. When those words came out, everyone was puzzled. That's right, what kind of peerless elixir could he refine? At this moment, everyone was nervously watching. He too, Heiyu and Red Lotus, the 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings, held their breaths. Inside the formation. After Lin Xian took out the purple abyss cauldron, he raised his head and looked at the spirit herbs in the air. At the same time, he quickly recalled the refining method of the Suyang Golden Crow elixir. After going through it 10 times in his mind, Lin Xian felt that there was no problem. Then he started. With a wave of his hand, stalks of spirit herbs entered the cauldron. Then Lin Xian's 9 sons' divine fire danced in his body and enveloped the cauldron. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and started to refine the elixir. The people around him waited patiently. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. A month had passed. Lin Xian still hadn't finished refining. After all, he was refining a sage-level elixir. It wasn't something that could be completed in a short period of time. However, it was about time for him to finish refining the elixir. Lin Xian opened his eyes and took a deep breath. With a wave of his hand, he threw a stalk of spirit herb into the cauldron. Buzz. At this moment, the cauldron trembled slightly. Not good. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. The Tier 9 Pill Kings outside gasped. The other alchemists also sneered. The people from the Qi family were extremely nervous. Lin Xian frowned. He reached out his soul and tried his best to control the cauldron. However, in the end, all the spirit herbs turned into ashes with a loud bang. Did he fail? Lin Xian frowned slightly. He started to review the process. The people from the Qi family outside had ugly expressions. Failed. Damn it, how could it be like this? Qi Xiu's face was also pale. However, at this moment, the Qi family's patriarch said in a low voice. Even the best alchemists didn't have 100% success rate. Failing once wasn't a big deal. When the patriarch said that, the people from the Qi family heaved a sigh of relief. Indeed, they knew that some elixirs were very difficult to refine. The elixir that cured the Qi family's patriarch was especially precious. It was impossible to have 100% success rate. It was estimated that a 10% success rate would be very high. Therefore, failing the first time didn't mean anything. However, they only collected 3 sets of spirit herbs. This meant that Lin Xian had 2 more chances. Could Lin Xian succeed in 2 tries? They didn't know. Their hearts were all in their mouths. The alchemists around them sneered. There was no way this kid could succeed. The elixirs he refined were too difficult. Moreover, they could tell that these were half-step saint-level elixirs. No matter how powerful this kid was, could he be a half-step pill saint? They all shook their heads and sneered. The 3 Pill Kings, He too, Heiyu and Red Lotus frowned. What do you think? Pill King Heiyu asked in a low voice. Pill King He too frowned. We've never seen his alchemy technique before. It's not from Cloud Return Planet. Where did this kid learn alchemy from? Although we've never seen his technique, it's so complicated that even I can't handle it. Pill King Red Lotus smiled bitterly. He might really be refining half-step saint-level elixirs. Chapter 3175. Although he was a top grade 9 pill king, he had no way of refining this kind of pill, because his strength was not up to par. However, this young man in front of him, who was nearly 1,000 years younger than him, could actually start refining the half-saint pill. Although he failed in the end, he maintained it for nearly a month. This meant that the other party's alchemy skills had far surpassed his. Thinking of this, the 3 Pill King's heart sank. He was really a rising star. No, he was a peerless genius. It turned out that this set of Roman flowers was put in too early. On the other side, Lin Xian finally found the reason for his failure. He took a deep breath again and started refining again. At his level, refining for a month was nothing. He even saw in the pill saint's notes that some pills took hundreds of years to refine. Those pills had spirituality and could fight on their own. For now, Lin Xian could only look at such a mythical pill. Right now he only needed to refine this pill. The second time the refining began. Another month had passed and everyone's hearts were in their throats. Because the last time it failed at this time. They wondered if he would succeed this time? Many pill refiners were paying close attention. The Qi family members were also extremely nervous. Qi Xiu clenched her fists tightly. Su Chen seemed very calm. After all, he had already found the reason for his failure. Therefore, after putting it in this time, there were no abnormalities. Next, it was almost time to wrap it up. After more than a month, the pill had basically taken shape. Lin Xian was going to do the final condensation. However, he could not let his guard down. After all, there were many pill refiners who failed at the last step. Lin Xian followed the experience provided by the pill saint's notes carefully. Finally, another 10 days passed. With a bang, a rumbling sound came from the pill furnace. Following that, countless rays of light spewed out, and a fragrance wafted over. Even through the array formation, everyone felt refreshed. Many people even felt the power in their bodies boiling. Could it be that he had succeeded? Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. The Qi family members were so excited that they almost fainted. Those pill refiners looked as if they had seen a ghost. Impossible. A few top grade 9 pill kings screamed. How could he have succeeded? That was a sage-level pill. Indeed, these alchemists were about to faint from fright. The other party was able to refine a half-saint's pill. Didn't that mean that the other party was a half-step pill saint? Thinking of this, their bodies trembled. Hichu, Heiyu, and Red Lotus, the 3 pill kings, had a change in expression as well. Half-step pill saints were like seniors in their alchemy world. They had to pay their respects when they saw him. Did he succeed? The old ancestor of the Qi clan held onto his walking stick, his body trembling. A smile appeared on his wrinkled old face. Finally, his injuries could be healed. After 300 years he was finally going to recover. Thinking of this, the Qi family patriarch smiled. Lin Xian waved his hand and a golden elixir appeared in the void. The golden pill had a mysterious pattern on it that resembled the texture of a tree. From afar, it looked like a golden crow lying on top of it. Success. Lin Xian grabbed the pill in his hand and removed the array formation. In the next moment he looked at the people of the Qi clan. The other people's eyes were red. They were too excited. They did not expect Lin Xian to succeed. From the discussion of the surrounding pill kings, they already knew that Lin Xian had refined a sage-level pill. He knew how difficult it was to refine it. He estimated that none of the pill kings present could refine it successfully. However, Lin Xian had succeeded. Didn't that mean that the other party was a half-step pill saint? Thinking of this, the people of the Qi clan were shocked. Such a young half-step pill saint was helping them. It seemed that the heavens had opened their eyes. Qi Xiu was also very excited. Young Master Lin, you really succeeded? That's great. She looked at the Qi family patriarch. At this moment, the patriarch threw away his walking stick. His body trembled slightly, and his turbid eyes burst out with a piercing cold light. It was like a divine lamp that pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Young Master Lin, are you really done? The Qi family patriarch seemed to be in disbelief. He wanted to confirm it again. Lin Xian nodded. That's right, I'm done. He threw the pill in his hand to the patriarch. Swallow it. This pill can heal your injuries that have lasted for 300 years. The Qi family patriarch's hands trembled when he received it. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and said in a low voice, I'm going into seclusion. Activate the array and don't let anyone disturb me. Whoosh. He turned into a ray of light and rushed into the depths of the Qi clan. The Qi family patriarch's elders moved quickly. One array after another lit up, especially the depths of the Qi clan, which was surrounded by dozens of large arrays. Obviously, they would not allow any accidents to happen to the Qi family patriarch. The area around Lin Xian and the others was also enveloped by the formation. The Qi family patriarch looked at Lin Xian excitedly. They hurried over. Thank you, young Master Lin, for your help. If the patriarch's injuries can really be healed, the Qi family will definitely thank you. Lin Xian nodded. There was a reason why he helped the Qi family patriarch. It was because he needed the Qi family to help him collect the remaining spiritual herbs. However, it was not the time yet. When the Qi family patriarch walked out again and recovered from his injuries, he would make another request. But now, he looked at the surrounding pill kings. The surrounding pill kings felt their scalps go numb. Previously, they were still mocking the other party, thinking that he was too young and would not succeed. However, they did not expect that the other party would really succeed. However, there were also some people who were stubborn. It was just that he had succeeded. He could not be sure that the Qi family patriarch's injuries could be healed. However, the surrounding people hurriedly left when they heard that, afraid that they would be implicated. Some people even sneered, "Idiot! That's a half-step pill saint. How dare you be so arrogant?" Sure enough, the people who mocked him broke out in cold sweat. That's right, that's a half-step pill saint. Even if he could not be healed, so what? Would they dare to offend him? Thinking of this, their intestines turned green with regret. With a plop, they knelt on the ground and kowtowed non-stop. Most of the surrounding pill masters walked up respectfully and bowed to Lin Xian. "Greetings, senior." They had no choice. Although they had lived for 1 or 2,000 years, and some had even lived for close to 3,000 years, they were all old monsters. However, in terms of pill Dao, they were far behind Lin Xian. Therefore, even if Lin Xian was very young, they still had to address him as senior and bow to him. Lin Xian naturally knew these rules, so he gladly accepted them. Whether it was martial Dao, pill Dao, or other things, strength was the most important. Age was simply ignored. Lin Xian's gaze swept across the surrounding pill masters and finally landed on the 3 people in the distance. Chapter 3176. Hearing this, He Tu Heiyu and Hong Lian, the 3 ninth-grade pill kings, let out a wry smile and hurried over. They said respectfully. They were convinced, sincerely convinced. "Young master is far better than us in alchemy. We have already prepared the things that we promised you. Please accept them." As they spoke, the 3 of them took out the 3 spiritual herbs that they had prepared. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile when he saw the 3 spirit herbs. He kept them and nodded slightly. Seeing that Lin Xian had no intention of blaming them, he too and the other 2 pill kings heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, although they had fought with the other party previously, they were not too arrogant. Instead, they had made an agreement today. If they had used their seniority to fight against the other party with their status and strength as pill kings, they would have died. They would have gone to hell. Next, they just had to wait patiently. Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back, looking into the distance. The others also waited quietly. Just like that, 15 days passed. In the depths of the Qi family, there was a sudden burst of energy, like a flash flood, sweeping in all directions. A long roar turned into a thunderclap, piercing through the void. Buzz! A figure rose into the sky, like a demon god, standing in the void. The aura that he exuded was filled with mysterious law runes, making it hard for people to breathe. This was a law fragment. Heavens, the Qi family's patriarch. The Qi family's patriarch's strength had recovered. The alchemists were shocked. The Qi family's elders were overjoyed. They knelt on the ground, cheering loudly. "Congratulations to the patriarch. Congratulations to the patriarch." Ah! The Qi family's patriarch looked up to the sky and laughed. He was too happy. It had been 300 years and his vitality was almost depleted. In another 10 years he would have died. But now he had completely recovered. Not only that, he was confident that he could live for a few thousand years. To him this was a huge surprise. Finally he had regained control of that power. The Qi family's patriarch walked forward. He did not remove the law fragment on his body. Instead, he walked in front of everyone like a god. The supreme martial artists trembled, and the alchemists held their breaths. They felt like their scalps were about to explode. Qi Siu was also kneeling on the ground. The only one left standing was Lin Xian. He clasped his hands behind his back, and a mysterious light flowed around his body, blocking the pressure of the nomological fragment. The Qi family ancestor was stunned. He didn't think that Lin Xian would be able to block the law fragment. "Old Master Qi, how do you feel? Has he fully recovered?" Lin Xian asked indifferently. Lin Xian did not care about the law fragments released by the other party. His fleshly body was already at the half-step saint level, so the law fragments were still unable to pose a threat to him. Unless it was a true law. Moreover, he wasn't afraid that the other party would go back on his word. If he could cure the other party, he could also take the other party's life. Seeing how calm Lin Xian was, the Qi family's ancestor was shocked. To be honest, from the beginning until now, he still couldn't see through the young man before him. This young man was too mysterious. Perhaps the other party had a shocking background. The old ancestor of the Qi clan kept the law fragment and smiled. He had completely recovered, thanks to Lin Fan's help. "Lin Fan, if you have any requests, the Qi family will definitely be able to fulfill them." "All right, I won't stand on ceremony then." Lin Xian raised his hand and threw out a jade slip to the Qi family's ancestor. The Qi family's ancestor looked at it and nodded. "No problem. The Qi family can help you collect these spiritual herbs." Give me a month's time. With that, the Qi family's ancestor handed the jade slip to the elder beside him. Collect these spiritual herbs within a month's time. After the elder took the jade slip, he probed it with his soul spirit and gasped. Although there weren't many spiritual herbs, they were extremely precious. Its value was comparable to the Crimson Sun Golden Crow pill from before. However, they didn't have any objections. Firstly, the ancestors' orders were unquestionable. Secondly, Lin Xian had cured their ancestors' injuries. No matter what price they had to pay, they were willing to do it. You don't have to worry about the spiritual herbs. Lin Fan, why don't you have a drink with me? The Qi family's ancestor smiled. All right, I'll do as you say. Lin Xian and the Qi family's ancestor walked into the distance side by side. The alchemists outside were extremely shocked. Some of the top pill kings looked at the figure in the distance with envy. At the same time, they decided to wait here. 5 days later, Lin Xian came out from the depths of the Qi family. Seeing that He Tu, He Yu, Red Lotus and the other pill kings were still there, he was very confused. Is there anything else? Red Lotus, He Tu and He Yu, the 3 pill kings, knelt on the ground respectfully. When the other elixir kings saw this scene, they also knelt on the ground and bowed deeply. They respectfully said, "Senior, please advise us." They had no choice. They had been in the 9th grade pill king realm for a long time. Some had been in it for hundreds of years, while others had been in it for thousands of years. However, they still couldn't take that step. They couldn't even improve. If they couldn't improve, it would be worse than killing them. Therefore, these people were in despair. When they saw that Lin Xian had such attainments in alchemy at such a young age, they naturally looked forward to it. Therefore, they hoped that Lin Xian would be able to teach them a thing or two. Lin Xian nodded slightly. All right, since I have nothing to do, I'll teach you for 2 days. You only have 2 days. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you, Senior. He Tu and the other top pill kings were overjoyed. They hurriedly asked all the questions that had been bothering them for hundreds and thousands of years. Lin Xian answered calmly. Originally, his alchemy attainments were very strong, not weaker than these 9th grade pill kings. In addition, he had studied the pill saint's notes, causing his alchemy attainments to improve by leaps and bounds. Now he had already reached the half-step pill king realm. Therefore, guiding these 9th grade pill kings was not difficult. 2 days passed very quickly. These 9th grade pill kings were reluctant to leave. In these 2 days, listening to Lin Xian's answers was equivalent to 500 years of hard work. Listening to a gentleman's words was better than reading 100 years of books. Then these pill kings left. However, Qi Xiu came. She accompanied Lin Xian to the nearby mountains, rivers, and scenic spots to play. Just like that, a month passed. The spiritual herbs that Lin Xian needed were also all completed by the mobile phone. When Qi Xiu handed a storage ring to Lin Xian's calm heart also became excited. Until now, all the herbs he needed had been gathered. He could finally start refining the Saint Breakthrough Pill. The Saint Breakthrough Pill was also a half-step Saint Pill. It was not easy to refine. He needed to go into seclusion for a while. However, after refining the Qiang Golden Crow Pill, Lin Xian also had some experience in refining a half-step Saint Pill. After bidding farewell to Qi Xiu, Lin Xian left the Qi family. He rose into the air and flew into the distance. He wanted to find a place with rich spiritual veins to refine pills in seclusion. Chapter 3177. This wasn't the first time he felt this way. He had felt it when Qi Xiu accompanied him on a tour. However, he couldn't find it when he searched. Now he felt it again. With a cold snort, Lin Xian stopped in his tracks and scanned his surroundings. His powerful soul power covered a radius of tens of thousands of miles, but he still couldn't find anything. Bus. Lin Xian flew again, this time at a faster speed. After 3 days he stopped again. In these 3 days he felt someone peeping at him twice. Especially on the 3rd day, the other party seemed to be more and more unscrupulous. Who's sneaking around? Get out here. Lin Xian roared and turned into 9 heavenly lightning, descending in all directions. Haha, little kid, I didn't expect you to be so vigilant. You even found out. An old voice sounded. The void shattered and a figure walked out. This person was too strange. He was skinny like a mummy. His clothes were tattered and there were clods of dirt on it. It looked like he had crawled out from an ancient tomb. Lin Xian's pupils shrank when he saw the other party. What a terrifying aura. This person's aura was much stronger than Gao Peng and the Nether King. It was similar to the aura of the Qi family patriarch. Half-step sage. This was a half-step sage. A half-step sage was hiding his head and showing his tail? You're a disgrace to the half-step sage. Lin Xian sneered. Little kid, you know I'm a half-step sage? Why aren't you kneeling and kowtowing to welcome me? The mummified old man revealed a sinister smile. Fragments of precepts rushed out from his body and surrounded him, making him look like a god. Just you? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with disdain. You followed me a few times before, but you didn't dare to come out when I was in the Qi family. Even the Qi family patriarch was afraid of you. What right do you have to threaten me? Lin Xian's guess was right. This mummified old man had followed him before. However, he was in the Qi family's sphere of influence. On the other hand, the Qi family had the Qi family's patriarch, a half-step saint. Therefore, it was inconvenient for this mummy-like figure to make a move. Brat, at that time, I just didn't want to fight with that old ghost from the Qi clan. Do you really think that I'm afraid of him? As for you? You dare to insult a half-saint? You can die now. As he spoke, a huge palm descended from the sky with a terrifying aura. The palm fell and pierced through the void. Lin Xian dodged and went to another space. Old man, do you really think that I'm afraid of you? Lin Xian's sword qi became more and more piercingly cold. Tens of thousands of streams of sword qi were released, causing the entire sky to tremble. How dare a half-saint who is almost at the end of his life be so arrogant in front of me? I'll kill you today. At this point, a terrifying energy suddenly erupted from his body and swept out in all directions. The withered half-saint's face also darkened. Since you dared to behave atrociously at the Wan clan and even killed the experts of the Wan clan, I'll skin you alive today. You're from the Wan clan. This time Lin Xian was stunned. He had just returned from the Wan clan. He didn't expect the Wan clan to have a half-saint expert. It seemed that the half-saint was in seclusion before this. Moreover, the half-saint didn't have much vitality left. It seemed that the half-saint was an ordinary existence. Did the remaining members of the Wan clan wake you up? Lin Xian frowned. He had spared some of the Wan clan's members. He didn't expect them to be so reckless. They even dared to awaken the half-saint of the Wan clan to kill him? It seemed that there was no need for the Wan clan to remain in this world. There's no need to go to the Wan clan to find them. I'm the only one left in the Wan clan. They've all been absorbed by me. The patriarch of the Wan clan was like a demon. His killing intent was monstrous. Indeed, the remaining members of the Wan clan had all turned into blood mist and were absorbed by him. With me here I can find one Wan clan, two Wan clans, or even countless Wan clans. The patriarch of the Wan clan was very confident. He was a half-saint. With him around, it would be very easy to rebuild a clan. I can feel that your body has powerful blood qi and exuberant vitality. Now it's mine. The patriarch of the Wan clan rushed out. Obviously his target was Lin Xian. To be precise, it was Lin Xian's body. Boom. The patriarch of the Wan clan charged out like a god of death. Lin Xian let out a long roar. The starry sky trembled. Countless sword qi accompanied by flames descended from the sky. In an instant, Lin Xian activated the power of fire. It was useless. The patriarch of the Wan clan laughed loudly. The clouds in the sky churned, forming a cloud hand that carried the law fragments. The terrifying energy was like a vast ocean. With a slap, all the sword qi in the sky were shattered. A mere power that was close to the Tao was nothing in front of him. Cloud Cave. The patriarch of the Wan clan snorted coldly. The cloud law fragment danced, forming an inexplicable killing intent that instantly blasted onto Lin Xian's body, sending Lin Xian flying. Boom. Lin Xian was sent flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, crashing into the mountains and rivers below. But soon he flew up. His body shone brightly like the sun. A half-step sage. That's all there is to it. He's not injured? This time the patriarch of the Wan clan was stunned. Your body has already reached the half-step sage realm? Ah, I didn't misjudge you. I must obtain your body. He was too excited. He didn't expect the other party to have the body of a half-step sage. However, from the looks of it, the other party hadn't comprehended the law fragments yet. He could easily kill such a person. Little kid, I don't have time to waste with you, so you can die now. Cloud Fiend. Soul Destruction. The Cloud Law Fragment descended and wrapped around Lin Xian. At the half-step sage realm, he could easily pass through the physical body and use the law to kill the other party's soul. The Cloud Law? Is just a fragment. It can't do anything to me. Lin Xian let out a long roar. The dragon sword soul in his body let out a loud dragon roar. Then it fused with the power of fire. Originally, Lin Xian's power of fire was very close to the law fragment. Now, with the power of the dragon sword soul, its power increased by several times. After all, the Dragon Sword Soul was an offensive saint technique. Therefore, at this moment, the power of fire rose infinitely and blocked the Cloud Law fragment. Boom. The two collided, producing tens of thousands of thunderous sounds. The entire sky was destroyed, turning into a zone of destruction. It's useless. You can't block it. The patriarch of the Wan clan walked forward. He wanted to collect Lin Xian's body, but when he got close, the half-step sage of the Wan clan was stunned, because he realized that Lin Xian wasn't dead. Instead, the aura on his body was becoming more and more terrifying. Impossible. Damn it, how can you block the law fragment? You're clearly only close to the Tao. The patriarch of the Wan clan's expression changed for the first time. Chapter 3178. However, the other party had blocked it. How was that possible? What kind of treasure did he have? Was it a half-saint artifact or a saint artifact? No, a mere half-saint artifact couldn't do anything to a true half-saint unless it was a saint artifact. Kid, it seems like you have a secret in your body. The Wan family's patriarch could clearly feel that there was an extremely terrifying aura emanating from Lin Xian's body. It caused the surrounding power of fire to rise infinitely. Although it wasn't a law fragment, its power was no different from a law fragment. I've said it before, a half-saint at the end of his life is no threat to me. Lin Xian walked over like a god of war. His eyes shone with a cold light. He waved his finger and countless sword chi interweaved with the power of fire. It quickly formed a flaming lotus and charged forward. Stupid ant, how dare you look down on me? The Wan family's patriarch was also angry. He emitted an extremely terrifying aura. His tattered Taoist robe also trembled rapidly. He was like a ghost, rushing forward quickly. The law of clouds brought with it a powerful force. He slapped out with his palm and collided with the flaming sword. The two exploded with shocking light. At that moment, Lin Xian used the Annihilation Sword Lotus. A black lotus flew out with the power of annihilation. Together with the Dragon Sword Soul, its power doubled. Boom. This time, it directly hit the Wan family's patriarch and sent him flying. Damn it. Two powers that were close to the Tao. The Wan family's patriarch flew back from hundreds of thousands of miles away. His body was trembling with anger. He was a half-saint, but he was sent flying by a junior. If word got out, how was he going to survive? Kid, you've completely angered me. The Wan family's patriarch roared. His originally withered body suddenly expanded. His withered cheeks and gray hair also rapidly changed. Soon, he turned into a middle-aged man with a heroic bearing. Cloud-pushing palm. With a loud shout, heaven and earth trembled. The clouds turned into a huge palm that covered a radius of millions of miles and descended from the sky. After transforming, not only did the Wan family's patriarch become younger, but his power was also more terrifying than before. The law fragment carried a shocking power and enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian's pupils constricted, and his blood and qi almost froze. He moved quickly. However, this palm covered an area of several million miles. It was simply too vast and he couldn't leave it in a short period of time. Therefore, he could only let out an angry roar and push his divine body to the extreme. At the same time, the great dragon sword spirit combined with the power of fire to form the Nine Suns' divine fist and soared into the sky. Boom. The mountains and rivers below shattered the void, turning into a pitch-black space that devoured everything within a radius of a few million li. Moreover, it did not disappear for a long time. He should be dead this time, right? The patriarch of the Wan family slowly descended from the sky. However, he was stunned once again. A touch of coldness appeared on his face, and a deep shock appeared in his eyes. He wasn't dead. He saw a figure below. His chi and blood were like dragons. His body shone with boundless light, like a sun. He stood there, suppressing the heaven and earth. Old fellow, I've said it before. A half-saint like you is unable to do anything to me. Lin Xian's body shone with boundless light. The sword chi around him formed a powerful domain that enveloped him and blocked this astonishing attack. Buzz. With a roar, he waved his fist and struck out with the Nine Suns' divine fist. At this moment, Lin Xian did not hold back. The power of the Nine Suns' divine body, the power of the great dragon sword spirit, and the power of fire all combined. The Nine Suns' divine fist struck out consecutively. It was as if 18 suns were spinning in the sky. It was fighting against the opponent's ethereal cloud law fragments. Lin Xian's power was as strong as Yang, while the power of the Wan family's patriarch was incomparably ethereal. When the two collided, it was as if the world of yin and yang was torn apart in the sky. The great void of millions of li had just recovered when it collapsed again. It was too terrifying. Who was it? The kings of the distant cities all lay on the ground when they felt this astonishing power. This was the power of laws. Was it a saint? No, it should be a half-saint. Two half-saints were fighting. Heavens, who was it? Everyone was shocked. However, they could not resist this power at all, let alone investigate. Lin Xian and the Wan family's patriarch fought from the sky to the ground. Everywhere they went, everything turned into ashes. The two of them fought for 3 days and 3 nights, but there was no winner. Lin Xian's qi and blood were like dragons. Although he was not a true half-saint, his strength was not weaker than a half-saint. The Wan family's patriarch was so angry that he vomited blood. What was going on? He could not do anything to the other party. Could it be that his qi and blood were not enough? The Wan family's patriarch's face was cold. He was indeed at the end of his rope. He was able to revive this time because he had absorbed the blood of countless descendants of the Wan family. However, it seemed that the blood he had absorbed was not enough. Otherwise, how could he not defeat the other party? Therefore, they wanted to retreat. On the other side, Lin Xian let out a long roar and became one with his sword. The great dragon sword spirit completely enveloped him and turned into a dragon shadow. It carried 2 types of power that were close to the Tao and kept burning. In an instant, he pierced through the void and directly crashed into the Wan family's patriarch. With a bang, the Wan family's patriarch was torn into pieces. The Wan family's patriarch screamed and retreated into the distance. His expression was extremely ugly. He was injured. His body was actually shattered by the other party. He could not accept it. He pulled out a long spear and charged out again. The long spear waved, carrying the nomological fragments. It was incomparably ethereal as it pierced through the 9 yang divine body. The divine body was extremely terrifying. Although it was pierced by the long spear, it did not shatter. Instead, it clamped the divine spear formed by the nomological fragments. At the same time, the dragon-shaped sword shadow in Lin Xian's hand, coupled with the 2 types of power that were close to the Tao, split the Wan family's patriarch in half. The Wan family's patriarch was scared out of his wits and hurriedly fled. If this continued, he would be the one to lose in the end. After all, the other party's vitality was vigorous and his qi and blood were monstrous. Although he looked powerful, the qi and blood in his body had long withered. Whoosh! He was so frightened that he soared into the sky. Brat, just you wait. I will definitely not let you off. The Wan family's patriarch escaped. He wanted to slaughter millions of living beings to recover his qi and blood. Then he would kill the other party and seize Lin Xian's body. Seeing the Wan family's patriarch escape, Lin Xian did not stop him. Firstly, he was also injured now. Secondly, he had more important things to do, which was to refine the Breaking Saint pill. As long as he finished refining the Breaking Saint pill and entered the half-saint realm, killing the other party would be as easy as slaughtering a dog. Fine, I'll let you live for another 2 days. Lin Xian turned around and left. After Lin Xian and the Wan family's patriarch left, countless figures descended from the distance. They looked at the ground that had been destroyed beyond recognition and sucked in a breath of cold air. This was the power of the nomological fragments. This was the blood of half a lifetime. They looked at the scene and their bodies trembled. Buzz. Chapter 3179. An old man descended from the sky with a beautiful woman beside him. It was Qi Siyu and the old man from the Qi family. The Qi family was not far from here, so the battle here finally caught the attention of the Qi family patriarch. Patriarch, are half-saints fighting? Qi Siyu, who was beside him, asked curiously. The Qi family patriarch sensed the power of the nomological fragments and the half-saint blood in the sky and nodded. Yes, it was indeed a half-saint. However, he did not know which half-saint it was. There was an aura that was familiar. He sensed the remaining sword qi in the sky and immediately narrowed his eyes. Could it be? A figure appeared in his mind. It was a young figure. It was because of this person that he was able to recover. But it should not be. He did not believe that this person had such strength. Could he really fight with a half-saint? When you go back, find out where young Master Lin went. Yes, Patriarch. Qi Siyu was very puzzled, but she still respectfully agreed. On the other side, Lin Xian left. He chose a very secluded place and sank into the ground below. Then he set up countless arrays. With these arrays, even a half-saint would not be able to detect his tracks. In the next moment he summoned the black earth and went inside. After all, he could not be disturbed when refining the Saint Breakthrough pill. Lin Xian spent a month to recover his body and reach the peak. Then he began to recall the process of refining the Saint Breakthrough pill. Whoosh. He began to refine the pill. With the experience of refining the half-Saint Breakthrough pill, Lin Shen was much more proficient this time. But even so, he still failed twice and succeeded on the third try. Then he swallowed it. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. In this year many things had happened. After the battle on Chenxiong Peak, Lin Wudi became famous. There was also a storm in the alchemy world. A young half-step alchemy saint cured the Qi family patriarch, shocking the continent. There were also changes in the Qi family. The Qi family patriarch recovered from his injuries 300 years ago and returned to the Jianghu. The Qi family's power increased greatly. They conquered the east and west and their territory expanded several times. For a time they were in the limelight. But at the same time, Cloud Returning Planet had another matter that made people's hair stand on end. A remote city was destroyed in one night. The tens of millions of cultivators in the city were massacred. Not even their corpses remained. A total of 77 cities were turned into ghost cities. Countless experts were annihilated. The area where the 77 cities were located also became a ghost region, and no one dared to step into it. This was because anyone who entered would immediately turn into a bloody mist and be absorbed by the mysterious existence. For a moment, everyone was terrified. That place had also become a forbidden area. Even if someone at the consummate level of 9 stars entered, they would instantly shatter, unable to escape. Did you know? It was rumored that there was a demon living there, and its strength was extremely terrifying. King-level cultivators would definitely die if they entered. Damn it, how could such a demon appear? He had heard that the 77 cities were quite good and had countless resources. There were even a few top-grade spirit veins in them. They wouldn't be given away just like that, right? Just wait and see. Those people from the big families will definitely not let this matter rest. Sure enough, there were people who went to attack the areas where the 77 cities were located. But soon the news came. The 6 big families had joined forces, but they were completely annihilated. No, there was still one person who came out alive. He was a grand elder who had comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. However, at this moment his entire body was shattered and he was on the verge of death. He was so thin that he was only skin and bones. He only said 2 words when he came out and fell to the ground dead. A half-step sage. Everyone's scalps went numb. A half-step sage. There was actually a demon-like half-step sage inside. Once the news spread, it swept through the entire continent. Those big families also fell silent. What a joke. They did not dare to provoke a half-step sage. However, they didn't dare to do so, but some of the top families and sects sent their experts. Next, ghosts wailed and wolves howled in that area. Gloomy winds blew, and light shot into the sky as if the world was about to be destroyed. Everyone within tens of millions of kilometers saw it. Everyone knew that it was a battle between half-step sages. The light lasted for 10 days and 10 nights before finally disappearing. No one knew what the outcome was, but everyone only knew that they still could not enter that area. They would die if they entered. It's over. Even a half-step sage can't do anything to the demon inside. What should we do? However, following that, the situation also changed a little. It was just that the ghost realm formed by the 77 cities was no longer so terrifying. Some powerful people could enter. It was just that they did not dare to enter the innermost area. At the same time, some top geniuses from outside the realm came. They heard of this strange place, so they decided to investigate it. These top geniuses from Cloud Return Planet were naturally unwilling to fall behind and entered one after another. Firstly, they could not lose to the geniuses from outside the realm. Secondly, they also wanted to go in and train. After all, from the current intelligence, as long as they did not enter the innermost area, there should not be any danger to their lives. After all, many of those who hurried over were people who had comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. For a time, this ghost realm became the focus of everyone's attention. There was a barren mountain endlessly far away from this ghost realm. The spiritual energy here was very sparse. It could be said that there were not even many demonic beasts here. Martial artists would even less come here. However, at this moment, the barren mountain shook violently as if an earthquake had occurred. Huge cracks began to spread in all directions. Eventually, the entire barren mountain was completely torn apart. Following that, a figure appeared. This was a handsome youth dressed in red robes, sitting there cross-legged. At this moment, there were mysterious runes flowing on his body like patches of flames. But that aura was much more terrifying than the flames. Above his head, a large crack opened, forming a black vortex. Endless energy surged into his body wildly. If a king saw this scene, he would definitely be scared silly. If a 9-star great perfection was poured in by this energy, he would probably directly explode and die. But the youth below did not feel anything. It was like an abyss black hole mercilessly absorbing. This scene lasted for a month before it was completed. But the youth opened his eyes. 2 piercing beams of light pierced through the void. In the next instant, a surge of terrifying power surged out of his body. This power was much more terrifying than a king's, reaching an inconceivable level. Was this the cultivation of a half-sage? The red-robed youth was none other than Lin Xian. He had successfully refined the Saint Breakthrough Pill and swallowed it. After endless cultivation, he finally completely absorbed the Saint Breakthrough Pill, causing the phenomenon just now. His cultivation had also reached the half-sage level. Whoosh! Too powerful. Lin Xian's current strength was much stronger than before. Chapter 3180. Sure enough, not long after, the black vortex in the sky disappeared. Endless thunder clouds condensed and formed. These thunder and lightning seemed to have descended from the starry sky beyond the sky, very terrifying. With a bang, a bolt of thunder and lightning descended from the sky. Lightning punishment. Carrying the destructive aura of thunder and possessing the power of laws, it finally came. Lin Xian took a deep breath. After making it through this lightning tribulation, he should be able to condense true law fragments. But he was not afraid. Instead, he directly rushed up. Bang! The entire place was drowned as if it was the end of the world. Fortunately, this place was deserted. Otherwise, they would definitely be scared silly. But even if there were few people, this destructive aura and power still attracted the attention of some martial artists. It was just that this thunder and lightning power was too terrifying. They did not dare to approach at all. A few bold ones were struck flying by the thunder before they even approached. Lightning tribulation, someone was transcending tribulation. Everyone was terrified. It wouldn't be some genius powerhouse, right? Many people looked at the space ahead enveloped by thunder and lightning, bewildered and uncertain. But no matter how they guessed, they could not guess who it was. Furthermore, this power was too terrifying, right? Even separated by tens of millions of miles, they still felt a chill run down their spines. So terrifying, it had already lasted for a month, and this lightning tribulation actually had not disappeared yet. Just who was transcending tribulation? Could he have already been struck into ashes? Those young martial artists were puzzled. However, those older generation figures shook their heads and sighed. Impossible, the person was going to die, and the lightning tribulation would have long disappeared. The current situation indicated that the person inside was still transcending tribulation. But just which major figure was it? This thunder and lightning's destructive aura exceeded this old man's several hundred years of cognition. Could it be an immortal manifesting? Many people exclaimed. There were rumors in this world that there were immortals. Perhaps an immortal had descended on Cloud Return Planet. The moment these words came out, many people directly knelt on the ground to worship. A month later, the signs of the lightning tribulation weakened. Another half a month later, it finally disappeared. It was just that everyone still did not dare to go forward. Because just that remnant aura was enough to kill them. Even those at the grand completion of 9 stars did not dare to go forward. However, the horror of this place did not deter these people. Instead, more and more martial artists gathered and knelt here. But on this day they were all stunned. That was because they saw a figure walking out from the front. It was a young figure. Holy shit. Who is this kid? How dare he go in? Was he not afraid of being killed? Impossible. The residual power of the thunder was so terrifying, how could he be unscathed? These people were stunned. The older generation figures were bewildered. That wasn't right. They had never seen anyone enter before. Who was this person? Could it be that he had walked out from inside? Could it be that he was the one undergoing the tribulation? Impossible. How could such a terrifying lightning tribulation be caused by an old monster that had lived for thousands of years? How could it be caused by a young man? These older generation experts couldn't understand. The person who walked out was Lin Xian. After going through the thunder tribulation, he had finally transformed the power of fire into fragments of the law of fire. He was now a genuine sage to be. Before reaching the half-saint realm, he could already contend with a half-saint. Now, Lin Xian was confident that he could kill the patriarch of the Wan family with one punch. How could there be so many people? After coming out, Lin Xian looked around at the warriors who were kneeling and bowing. He frowned slightly. Kid, how did you get in? Yes, why are you unscathed? Tell me your secret. Many people surrounded him with ferocious expressions. In their opinion, he must have a treasure on him. Lin Xian snorted coldly. His eyes darkened and a terrifying aura surged out. He was now a half-step saint. The aura he released was naturally the aura of half a lifetime. Suddenly, all the warriors were pressed to the ground by the aura, trembling. The few people who had spoken arrogantly earlier were so scared that they fainted. "Senior, please spare us," everyone exclaimed. The older generation figures were also trembling. In their opinion, this was not a young man. He was definitely an extremely terrifying old monster. Lin Xian withdrew the aura of a half-step saint and asked indifferently, "What happened recently?" "Senior, in the past 2 years the Qi family had become very powerful. They were several times stronger than before. It was said that the Qi family's patriarch had recovered from his injuries." An old man hurriedly said. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he nodded. This matter was within his expectations. He asked, "Is there anything else?" "Also, recently, many geniuses from outside the domain have arrived on Guiyuan planet. Many of them have comprehended power that is close to the Tao." It seemed that more and more geniuses from outside the domain had arrived. The old man continued. "These geniuses from outside the domain and the local geniuses of Guiyuan planet have all entered the Ghost Realm." "What is the Ghost Realm?" Lin Xian asked. He had never heard of the Ghost Realm before. "Senior, this Ghost Realm was formed in the past 2 years. A year or two ago, the warriors in the 77 cities mysteriously disappeared. The place where the 77 cities were locked formed the Ghost Realm. Anyone who entered would be turned into ashes. Rumor had it that there was a half-step saint inside. Inside, there was a monstrous bloody light and an extremely strong bloody aura. Later, a half-step saint entered and fought. However, he had no choice but to retreat in the end. However, the demon half-step saints in the movies were not as arrogant as before. They could enter some places. However, they were still unable to enter the core area. Those geniuses from outside the domain had gone to this Ghost Realm." "Ghost Realm? What?" Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He thought of the half-step saint from the Wan family. Moreover, he guessed that it was most likely the doing of this half-step saint from the Wan family. What a reckless thing. He was about to die, yet he still caused so much slaughter. Lin Xian asked in a low voice. "Where was the Ghost Realm?" "Fly west from here. The place where the bloody light covered thousands of miles was the Ghost Realm," the old man said. It seemed that it was time to understand. Lin Xian soared into the sky. Previously, when he fought with the Wan family's patriarch, both sides were injured. At that time, he did not chase after the other party in order to break through. He did not expect that the other party would use such cruel methods to recover his strength. Now that he had broken through to become a true half-step saint, he naturally could not let the other party go. Inside the Ghost Realm, the bloody light overflowed into the sky and the ghost chi was awe-inspiring. On the other hand, it was a peaceful scene outside. This huge contrast made people fearful. However, at the same time, it also attracted countless warriors to come and search for treasures. After all, there were countless experts in each of the 77 cities. After they died, they left behind a large number of cultivation techniques and treasures. It could be said that there were 77 treasure vaults. Therefore, even though they knew the danger, their greed made these people move forward without caring about anything else. Of course, those who were weaker could only search outside. Even 9-star kings did not dare to get too close. They could only search in the outermost cities. Only those who had comprehended the Tao would dare to move forward. Chapter 3181. That should be the Ghost Realm, right? That figure was Lin Xian. He came to the vicinity of the Ghost Realm with flickering eyes. Sure enough, the surrounding blood chi was surging, and ghosts were wailing and wolves were howling. Obviously, countless creatures had been killed, and their resentment was monstrous. Not only that, but he also sensed a familiar aura from it. The Cloud Law Fragment. It was indeed the half-step sage of the Wan family. It seemed that the half-step sage of the Wan family should be cultivating in seclusion. Bus. Lin Xian walked directly inside. His speed was very fast. He turned into a long rainbow and flew quickly into the distance. The people on both sides of the road were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. Who was that kid? How dare he fly so fast? Did he want to die? It seemed that he was a reckless guy. There was a monstrous murderous aura inside as well as some vengeful spirits and blood demons. Even a perfected 9-star cultivator would not barge in like that. How dare a kid like him do that? Just wait and see, he would definitely die within 3 seconds. However, these people were soon dumbfounded and almost knelt on the ground. That was because they realized that the other party was completely fine. The surrounding blood demons and vengeful spirits were directly torn apart by the other party. Wherever the other party passed, nothing dared to approach. He turned out to be a super expert, a top-notch genius. He must be a top-notch genius. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to be so powerful. Oh God, did another top-notch genius enter? It was going to be lively inside. These people were no longer looking down on him. Instead, they were amazed. Lin Xian's speed was so fast that there were not many people wherever he passed. Generally, those who were weak would not be able to enter, but suddenly he made a sound and realized that there were people in front of him. It seemed that those people should be the top geniuses or peerless powerhouses. There were many people in front of him, but they did not move. Instead, they were confronting something. Lin Xian's arrival also attracted the attention of these people. One by one the figures turned around. When they saw Lin Xian they were extremely surprised. What a young person. Who was that person? They discussed. Lin Xian also looked over. His gaze stopped on those people for a second, then he no longer paid attention to them and looked ahead. No wonder those people stopped. It turned out that there were many blood demons and vengeful spirits in front of them. It seemed that the half-step sage of the Wan family had not only killed countless powerhouses, but also turned them into blood demons to protect him. He could see that the 77 cities in the ghost realm had formed a 10,000 ghost formation. Another person who didn't know the difference between life and death had come. A blood demon in front of him. He was dressed in blood-red armor and was 5 meters tall. He looked like a demon king. When he spoke, the surrounding space trembled. There was a rune between his eyebrows that emitted a mysterious aura. This was a rune left behind by the Wan family's old ancestor. It caused the blood demon's aura to be no weaker than the peak experts around him. After Lin Xian landed, he frowned. Although the blood demons and vengeful spirits ahead were terrifying with so many top-notch experts here, would they not be able to defeat them? So he asked, "Why? Are you afraid to make a move? Brat, what do you know? How dare you look down on us?" There was an extremely terrifying formation here, and it was set up by a half-step sage. It could be said that it was the laws of heaven and earth. Under the laws they could not attack in groups. They could only fight one-on-one. Do you think we won't attack you? Those top prodigies rolled their eyes as if mocking Lin Xian's ignorance. They did not know that Lin Xian had already seen through it. It was a 1,000 ghost formation. Lin Xian continued, "One-on-one? So what? If you can't even defeat a mere blood demon, you'd better make way for me. This place is not suitable for you. Too dangerous for you. Hurry up and go back." Lin Xian waved his hand and walked forward. "Damn kid, you're courting death. How dare you? Get lost." Those top prodigies were instantly enraged. Many of them were top prodigies who had rushed over from outside the realm. They had all comprehended power that was close to the Tao. Wherever they went, they were admired by tens of thousands of people. But now they were being looked down upon? How could they endure this? Immediately, a terrifying power surged out and filled the sky. However, Lin Xian did not fear this. He crossed his hands behind his back, not caring at all. The several top prodigies in front coldly snorted. "Boy, if it weren't for the rules of this array formation, then you wouldn't have been able to withstand our pressure. You actually dare to tell me to get lost? I think you should screw off first." A man walked out. This man was tall and his body exuded a blood-infernal aura. He was also extremely tyrannical. There was a good show to watch. No one thought that Shueman would actually attack. That boy was absolutely dead. Shueman was extremely terrifying. He came from Blood Refining Planet and was said to have worshipped a half-step sage as his master. Moreover, what he cultivated was the blood-infernal Tao. His aura matched the surrounding aura. Here, not only would he not be suppressed, he could even increase his strength. That boy could have provoked anyone, but he had to provoke a ruthless master like Shueman. It was likely that he would die without a corpse remaining. The surrounding prodigies sneered, all of them looking on as if they were watching a play. Lin Xian looked at the figure in front of him, his eyes flashing. He came from Blood Refining Planet? And he also worshipped a half-step sage as his master? This reminded him of not too long ago when he had casually killed a little ant. In the next moment, Lin Xian lightly asked, "What is your relationship with Lone Wolf?" "Lone Wolf? That is my junior apprentice brother. How do you know him?" Shueman frowned. Lone Wolf had already left Blood Refining Planet for a long time. He had said that he wanted to come to Cloud Planet to take revenge. However, several years had passed and there had been no news of Lone Wolf. This caused Shueman to feel that something was wrong. Now that he heard this from Shueman's mouth, he was immediately enraged. It seems that you know something about my junior apprentice brother. Be a good boy and tell me. I can give you a quick and painless death. He was already killed by me because he provoked me. Just like you are now. So if you want to live, then kneel down, kowtow, and get the hell out of Cloud Planet. Otherwise, your fate will be the same as his. Lin Xian was now a true half-step sage. How could he allow someone close to the Tao to provoke him? You are courting death. If you want to kill me, then go to hell first. Shui Man gave a loud shout and an endless blood-red light bloomed from his body. In the next moment he instantly turned into a monstrous demon king. A blood-red spear appeared in his hands. The Tao of Slaughter. As this spear thrust out, the entire space trembled. The surrounding sea of blood began to surge towards him. It was over. That boy had really died. Here, Shuiman's combat strength was far greater than in the outside world. Not only did he comprehend the Tao of Slaughter, but he had also comprehended the power of slaughter. Shuiman was absolutely a killing god. This was just a trivial power that bordered on the Tao. Lin Xian shook his head and punched out. Chapter 3182. With a bang, all of the blood-red light was completely shattered. Not only that, but the crimson spear was also shattered into pieces. What? How could this boy be so strong? The surrounding proud children of heaven's faces all paled. Shuiman's pupils shrank. This was bad, he had to hurry and retreat. But it was already too late. Lin Xian's palm stretched out. It was like a five-fingered mountain, firmly locking him in place. Stop. You cannot kill me. I am Ancestor Shui Pao's disciple. My master is a half-saint. If you kill me, my master will never let you go. Ancestor Shui Pao? A half-saint? Humph, if he dares to come find me, then I'll kill him too. Lin Xian didn't care. Damn. Shuiman screamed like a madman. He galvanized his strength that was close to the Tao to resist. But he discovered that he simply couldn't resist. Lin Xian had completely surpassed him. He couldn't even block a single move. He knew that he had offended someone that he couldn't afford to provoke. In the next moment, with a thud, he fell to his knees. I was wrong, please forgive me. The surrounding top proud children of heaven's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. This was Shuiman. Amongst them he was an extremely powerful existence. But now, such a person was actually kneeling and begging for mercy? Now he knew how to kneel and beg for mercy? Too late. I gave you a chance, but now I won't. A half-saint had the dignity of a half-saint. Not just anyone could provoke them. As Lin Xian spoke, he didn't show any mercy. With a loud bang, Shuiman was turned into a bloody mist. Shuiman's body instantly exploded, but his soul managed to escape. Not just that, but his soul held a blood-red jade pendant. The jade pendant emitted a monstrous aura of a half-saint. Then a hazy figure appeared. It was an old man in a blood-red robe. His body emitted a monstrous slaughter aura, extremely terrifying. A half-saint phantom. Many proud children of heaven cried out in alarm. They felt their blood freeze. Obviously, this was a half-saint phantom that had been left in Shuiman's body to save his life in a moment of crisis. As this half-saint phantom appeared, it stared at Lin Xian. Who dares to harm my disciple? Kneel and accept your death. He stretched out a monstrous blood-red hand and viciously slapped towards Lin Xian. You want to fight me with a mere phantom of a half-saint? Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a wisp of sharp flaming sword light appeared at the tip of his finger as he slashed forward. The blood-red half-saint phantom was slashed into two, and then it was incinerated by monstrous flames and transformed into ash. Impossible. How could you possibly destroy my master's illusion? Shuiman's soul was stunned in the air. His final life-saving method had been destroyed, and it had been easily broken by this opponent. Who was this person? With a swoosh, his soul was destroyed by the sword. Lin Xian turned his head and looked around. Instantly, the surrounding geniuses began to tremble, and many of their faces turned pale. They were done for. They had provoked a god of death. This was a truly terrifying expert. So sorry we failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please forgive us, young master. A few of the older generation experts hurriedly apologized. They had lived for countless years and knew when to submit and when to stand tall. Now they naturally had to beg for mercy. As the geniuses from other realms heard this, their bodies shook. They quickly said, "Sorry, young master, please spare our lives." As they said this, they didn't dare to believe it. How proud were they? But now they had no choice but to bow their heads. I'll spare your lives this time. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Then he looked ahead at the blood demons and resentful spirits. In the next moment he walked forwards. The tall blood demon issued a fierce roar. "Boy, you're courting death." A saber slashed down. It was like a river of blood, causing the entire vault of heaven to split open. However, Lin Xian didn't retreat at all. As the saber slashed down on his body, it emitted a heaven-shaking sound. Even so, he wasn't injured at all. Whoosh! He arrived in front of the blood demon, his aura capable of swallowing mountains and rivers. Horrifying flames appeared on his body, as if they would burn the entire world. The blood demon in front of him emitted a miserable cry before it turned into a pool of blood. The surrounding resentful spirits were also affected. They screamed as if they had gone crazy. They had no choice. They were originally Yin creatures and they were most afraid of the power of Yang. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body was extremely terrifying. In addition, he now had a fragment of the law of fire. The power of Yang was definitely not something that the blood demons and resentful spirits could resist. "Who exactly are you?" The resentful spirits screamed as if they had gone crazy. They were the souls of the people who had died in the 77 cities. They had been refined by the Wan family's patriarch using a secret technique and retained their intelligence when they were alive. At this moment they were screaming as if they had gone crazy. They had never seen such a terrifying person. "I'm Lin Wudi. Tell the Wan family's patriarch to come out." Lin Wudi. Hearing this, many of the surrounding people's bodies trembled. Their eyes were filled with shock. He was actually Lin Wudi. Thinking of this, they felt a lingering fear. The geniuses from other realms were puzzled. Who exactly was he? He was an extremely terrifying top genius who had defeated the Nether King in the battle at Tianqiong Peak. The Nether King. The geniuses from other realms were shocked. The Nether King was also a top genius in the outer realms. He was even stronger than them. They did not expect him to be defeated by the other party. However, some people frowned. That was not right. Even if he defeated the Nether King, he could not fight against a half-sage. Where did he get his confidence from? The native powerhouses of Cloud Return Planet were also very puzzled. Could it be that the other party had called their master this time? In their opinion, for Lin Xian to possess such strength, there must be a terrifying family, clan, or holy land behind him. Perhaps this time, it was the Grand Elder or Patriarch of his family's sacred ground who had made a move. "You want to see my master? You'll have to get through me first. I don't care if you're Lin Wudi or Zhang Wudi. Go to hell today." A terrifying roar came from ahead. Then the ground trembled and the void shattered. A terrifying figure walked out. This figure was extremely ferocious. His entire body was formed by resentful spirits. It seemed that he had used millions of resentful spirits. Every head was extremely ferocious and twisted. On the outside, there was a blood-red armor made from endless blood that firmly imprisoned these resentful spirits. On the armor, there were mysterious runes that flickered with a demonic power. The surrounding top geniuses swallowed their saliva. How terrifying. Fortunately, they did not act rashly just now. This new monster was too terrifying. He had far surpassed them and was close to a half-sage. Would this brat be able to withstand it? For a moment, their gazes turned to Lin Xian. Boom. The monster in front of them roared loudly. Endless resentment surged into the sky as if it was going to tear the entire world apart. He struck out with his palm, and monstrous waves of blood erupted with incomparable killing intent. "I have a sword that can cut through the 9 heavens." Chapter 3183. In the next moment, endless flames danced on his body, condensing into a flaming long sword in his hand, emitting a brilliant light. "This is?" The expressions of the surrounding prodigies all changed. The pupils of those older generation figures also constricted abruptly. What a terrifying flame aura. Retreat quickly. They quickly retreated and watched from afar. The monsters and wraiths in front all trembled uneasily, letting out frenzied roars. The surrounding Thousand Ghost formation also seemed to be enraged, operating crazily. For a time, the front was wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves, like demons from hell. Kill. Terrifying monsters, countless blood demons, and wraiths that filled the sky all charged over crazily. The flaming longsword in Lin Xian's hand also slashed down. At this moment, Lin Xian became incomparably terrifying, like a sword god. The longsword in his hand bloomed with resplendent light as it slashed down. The void shattered and all the wraiths and monsters were reduced to ashes. The entire Thousand Ghost formation was split open by a sword. A crack appeared in the ground, spreading into the distance. This sword split the entire ghost domain apart. Behind, those outer realm prodigies were almost fainted from fright. Damn it, who the hell was this person? How could there be such a terrifying monster on Cloud Return Planet? If they knew, they wouldn't have come even if they were beaten to death. Those powerhouses on Cloud Return Planet were also terrified. They racked their brains but could not figure out which family or sacred ground the other party was from. Outside, those martial artists who were still wandering around the ghost domain also screamed. They discovered that the ghost domain in front of them suddenly split into two halves from the middle. Endless flames shot into the sky. The ghost domain was split open. Someone screamed and everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. What? Impossible, right? They had deeply experienced how terrifying the ghost domain was during this period of time. Even a half-sage could not do anything to it. But now it was actually split open. Who the hell was it? Could it be that a saint made a move? Inside the ghost domain, Lin Xian split open the Thousand Ghost formation with a sword. Then his gaze was like a magic lamp looking ahead. Old ghost of the Wan family still not coming out? Do you want me to personally drag you out? Damn it, who is it? How dare you disturb my cultivation? A terrifying sound rang out as the void continued to shatter. The surrounding elite sky prides were coughing up mouthfuls of blood as well. The might of a half-step saint. Not good, retreat quickly. They retreated frantically as if they had seen a ghost. Although they were geniuses from outside the realm and local powerhouses, they had only comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. Compared to a half-saint, he was still far from it. Therefore, they were completely unable to contend against a half-saint. No matter how many people there were, it was useless even if they attacked together. They could only keep retreating. However, Lin Xian did not retreat. Instead, he walked forward. With every step he took, a flame would rise from his feet. In the end, the flames in the sky burned all of the ghost chi. What a pretentious prick. You were already at the end of your tether, but in order to increase your strength, you didn't hesitate to slaughter millions of living beings. You truly deserve to die. I let you escape last time, but I won't let you escape this time. Lin Xian said coldly. Hearing the last sentence, the surrounding sky pride's eyes almost popped out. What? He escaped last time? Could it be that this kid had already fought with a half-step saint before? Heavens! They were about to faint from fright. In the depths of the ghost realm, the Wan family's patriarch screamed as if someone had stepped on his tail. Damn kid, it's you! With a boom, he broke through countless voids and appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, the Wan family's patriarch had turned into a middle-aged man. His muscles were bulging and his blood was monstrous. It was obvious that the blood of millions of powerhouses had allowed him to recover. The Wan family's patriarch was surrounded by a sea of blood that turned into armor and enveloped him. A blood-red long sword appeared in his hand as he stepped into the air step by step. Kid, it's really you? Don't worry, this time I will definitely send you to the 18th level of hell. The current me is no longer at the end of my tether. I have recovered to my peak. As he roared, the void within millions of miles shattered, and the entire world turned into a blood-red sea. In the sky, blood-red clouds appeared and shrouded everyone. This is my world. I am the ruler of this entire world. A king could use a domain while a saint could use a world. In this world, a saint's laws were the ruler. Although a half-step saint was unable to form their own world, they still far surpassed a domain. What the other party said was right. In this cloud-like space, the Wan family's patriarch was the ruler. The surrounding martial artists were so scared that they shivered. They knelt on the ground, shivering. Even the proud children of heaven from outside the realm were filled with despair. They could feel law fragments dancing between the heavens and earth. They simply couldn't resist. It was over. They might really die here. They were filled with incomparable regret. However, some people said, no, we still have a glimmer of hope. That is the person in front of us, Lin Wudi. Yes, he was Lin Wudi. He had defeated the Deep King and killed Shui Man. Perhaps he had a way to deal with the Wan family's patriarch. What a joke. He was only from the younger generation. At most, he had comprehended a strength that neared the Tao. How could he possibly contend with a half-step saint? Do you know what the power of a law fragment is? Some people shook their heads, their faces filled with despair. They weren't optimistic about Lin Xian's chances. In front of them, Lin Xian looked up at the sky, at the blood energy that overflowed with blood. He sneered. Had he recovered to his peak? So what? His opponent's strength had risen, but so had he. Now he had become a true half-step saint. He even had the confidence to contend with a saint, much less his opponent. Ah, boy, you are too arrogant. I admit that you are strong. Although you are only a perfect king and have comprehended a strength that nears the Tao, you are still able to contend with me. But that is only the weakest me. 2 years ago I had just awakened and my strength was very weak. But now I have already reached the peak. Compared to before, my strength has undergone earth-shaking changes. With a single hand I can slap you to death. Don't worry. Once I grab your soul, I will let you experience 100 reincarnations. And your mortal body will be mine. The Wan family's patriarch had recovered to his peak. His killing intent soared to the heavens, unstoppable. It was as if he could control everything. With a boom as his voice fell, an incomparably ethereal blood-red palm pressed down from the sky. On the palm, accompanied by the law of clouds fragment, it was as if the real heavens were descending, making it impossible to stop. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as the palm landed, all the cultivators within 1,000,000 miles were sent flying. Regardless of whether it was the older generation experts or the geniuses from the outer realm, they were all sent flying. They couldn't withstand it at all. Their bodies were shattered, and they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Only after retreating a few million miles did they heave a sigh of relief. It was too terrifying. Was this the power of a half-step saint? With just a casual strike, the storm was enough to seriously injure them. If they were hit head-on, they probably wouldn't survive even if they had 100 lives. It's over. That Lin Wuti is probably dead. Chapter 3184. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Interesting. Today I'll use you as a test. Endless flames erupted from his body. Each one of them jumped around like a fire dragon, roaring non-stop. There was an extremely terrifying aura on it. With a boom he punched out with the Nine Suns' divine fist. It was like a golden crow rampaging in the sky. The two collided in the sky, shattering the void for millions of miles. Everyone was sent flying again. There was chaos in front of them as if the end of the world had happened. Amidst countless terrified screams, the blood-red hand quickly shattered. A golden fist shot into the sky, illuminating millions of miles of mountains and rivers. As for the Wan family's patriarch, he was sent flying like a kite. Blood splattered in the sky. This was the blood of a half-step sage. It easily pierced through everything, causing the ground to sink and endless black holes to appear. Lin Xian's body bloomed with flames. He was like a god of war. He charged forward forcefully, and his cold voice resounded throughout the world. Who said that you're the only half-step sage? Millions of miles away, countless geniuses raised their heads and stared at this scene dumbfounded. This scene was deeply imprinted in their minds. Even after 1,000 years they could still remember it clearly. Finally, someone broke the silence. A scream rang out. The half-step sage was sent flying. Heavens, how did he do it? What did he say? Who said that you're the only half-step sage? Could it be that he's also a half-step sage? No way. How could he be a half-step sage at such a young age? He's Lin Wuti. Wasn't he someone who was close to the Tao? How did he become a half-step sage now? Screams rang out crazily. They weren't familiar with Lin Xian. In fact, they might not even recognize him if they met him face to face. However, they had heard of Lin Wuti's name. Previously, Lin Wuti had defeated the Nether King and his name had shaken the entire cloud-returning planet. However, Lin Wuti was only a genius who was close to the Tao at that time. Now he had become a half-step sage. The speed of his advancement was too fast. If news of this spread, it would probably scare a group of grand elders to death. Damn brat. I'm going to kill you. In the distance, a figure soared into the sky, roaring madly. His body was covered in blood light, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He was the Wan clan's ancestor. He was injured. He was actually injured by a young man's punch. Impossible. Damn it, how is this possible? 2 years ago, he had fought with the other party and was injured by the other party at that time. However, at that time he had just woken up and was like a lamp without oil, so he couldn't use his strength at all. Now he had already recovered to his peak. However, the outcome was still the same. In fact, the situation was even worse than back then. He was actually injured by a single punch. He couldn't believe that the other party's strength had increased even more than his. How was this possible? No, that's impossible. I don't believe it. How could you possibly be a half-saint? It had only been 2 years since they last met, and he had already become a half-saint? Even the patriarch of the Wan clan had never seen such a cultivation speed before. He guessed that Su Chen must have swallowed some medicinal pills to forcefully increase his cultivation. Such a person couldn't be compared to a true half-saint. The next moment he opened his mouth and spat out a cloud of mist. Whoosh! The cloud of mist continued to expand, enveloping the entire world. Countless figures of the Wan clan's patriarch appeared in all directions. Each of them was incomparably real. They carried the power of the precept fragments. The people who were watching the battle from afar were terrified. What kind of divine ability was this? How could he create so many clones? Furthermore, each of them was carrying fragments. Which one was the real one? They couldn't see clearly at all. Haha, kid, go to hell now. Countless clones moved together in the sky and on the ground, making it impossible to distinguish between the real and the fake. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A golden light appeared in his eyes and swept in all directions. However, in the next moment he was slightly stunned. He couldn't see through it for a while? So what? No matter how much the other party's secret technique was, it was useless. 9 Yang Divine Sword, illuminate mountains and rivers. With a long roar, boundless flames formed a divine sword in Lin Xian's hand. The long sword swept across, illuminating millions of miles of mountains and rivers. At this moment, every space between heaven and earth was filled with flaming sword chi. Countless half-step sage clones were enveloped by all the sword chi. In the next moment these clones were completely pierced through. None of them escaped. With a bang, a figure was sent flying. It was the Wan family's patriarch's true body. His face was filled with shock. Damn it, how was this possible? His divine ability had been destroyed by the other party's sword chi again. This was too powerful. With a slash of the sword, there was no way to hide within a million miles. Cloud Spear. The Wan family's patriarch roared. A cloud spear appeared in his hand and directly pierced out. Buzz. The cloud spear disappeared without a trace. Kid, the cloud is ethereal and traceless. Let's see how you block it. Indeed, the Wan family's patriarch's cloud law was so ethereal. Not only was his speed extremely fast and his movement technique was strange, but his attacks were also extremely strange. Buzz. On Lin Xian's left, the void shattered and a long spear pierced over. Bang. It sent Lin Xian flying. Hit. Countless people exclaimed. The Wan family's patriarch's lips curled into a smile. Hee kid, I knew it. You can't block my technique. Before he could finish his words, his body began to tremble because he realized that Lin Xian had returned once again without any injuries on his body. How was this possible? It couldn't pierce through? How could your physique be so strong? The Wan family's patriarch was stunned. So what if the other party had the body of a half-step sage? How could he not shatter the other party's attack? Lin Xian sneered. Sorry, you didn't hit at all. Indeed, the moment the long spear was about to pierce him, he directly sent it flying with his sword. Since I've taken so many of your attacks, then you should take one of mine. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. He stared at the other party. In the next moment, he waved the light sword in his hand, and it turned into a golden river of flames that surged out. The terrifying heat wave could melt everything in the world. The sword was like a fire dragon, roaring incomparably. Everyone was shocked. That was because Lin Xian's sword strike was simply too terrifying. The Wan family's patriarch's body went numb. He felt that he couldn't resist. In the next moment he used the Cloud Law fragment to the extreme and dodged quickly. The Cloud Law disappeared without a trace. In an instant, the Wan family's patriarch merged into the void and disappeared. It's over. That kid might not be able to catch me. Yes, the Cloud Law was too strange. Moreover, if a half-step sage wanted to escape, it was impossible to stop him. The people in the distance sighed. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to escape? Do you think you can escape? The great dragon sword spirit roared, and the power of his sword chi erupted once again. Chapter 3185. With a loud boom, the sword slashed through the void. A figure flew out. The Wan family's ancestor was stunned in mid-air, unable to believe what had happened. His body slowly split into two halves. Then his blood turned into a sea of blood roaring in the air. What? The Wan family's ancestor was split in half. How was this possible? How did he do it? The Wan family's ancestor had already turned into a cloud of mist and could not be attacked at all. How did he kill him? Were these people crazy? To be honest, even the Wan family's ancestor did not know how he was injured. He did not know that Lin Xian's dragon sword soul could destroy everything. It could even cut through the void, let alone a cloud of mist. I told you I won't let you go this time. So you can go to hell. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm. In the void, a pair of golden eyes appeared. Countless runes flashed, and together with the law of fire, it burned the ancestor's soul. The Wan family's ancestor was disdainful before, but now he let out a miserable cry. The other party had such a mysterious and terrifying eye technique. He had miscalculated. Oh. The Wan family's ancestor screamed crazily and spat out countless black mist, surrounding him. The black mist was incomparably cold. Could it be formed by the souls of millions of powerhouses? He did not expect the Wan family's ancestor to be so vicious. Some of the older generation experts in the distance exclaimed, "Don't be enveloped by this dark cloud, it specializes in hurting souls." Indeed, after being enveloped by the dark cloud, the Wan family's ancestor's soul actually survived. Even Lin Xian was shocked by this. It seemed that a half-sage was indeed strong. If he did not have a special ability, it would be difficult to kill him. However, this could not do anything to Lin Xian. No matter how strong the other party was, no matter how many treasures he had, he could send him to hell. But in Lin Xian's eyes, the Tianji divine eye exploded again. At the same time, the dragon sword soul also entered this mysterious eye. With a boom, the power of the Tianji divine eye multiplied. Instantly, the dark cloud was mercilessly torn apart and burned fiercely, turning into nothingness. Impossible. How could you possibly break through my dark clouds? The Wan family's old ancestor screamed like a madman. He really couldn't understand how Lin Xian's battle prowess could still increase. This was beyond his imagination. In the next moment, the dark clouds in the sky were torn apart. The soul of the Wan family old ancestor wanted to escape. But in the end it was burned to ashes. With a boom, his corpse fell from the sky, shattering the mountains and rivers within 1,000,000 miles. The void couldn't bear the body and blood of a half-saint. Dead. The surrounding people were all stunned. They realized that even after a long time, the Wan clan's old ancestor was still unable to revive. This meant that the other party had been completely killed. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. A dignified sage-to-be had actually died? Oh heavens! How could this be? This was truly too shocking to them. After all, a half-saint was someone who had one foot in the saint realm. That kind of person was about to transcend heaven and earth. Even if he encountered a strong enemy and couldn't defeat them, escaping wouldn't be a problem. But now, a half-saint had died in front of them. Lin Xian took the Wan clan's old ancestor's storage ring, then turned around and soared into the sky, disappearing into the sky. The surrounding people's scalps went numb. They knew that a huge earthquake and a huge storm had occurred again. The death of a half-saint was definitely an endless storm. As expected, the news spread at the speed of light. Soon, the entire cloud-returning planet knew about it. A half-saint had fallen. Moreover, it was killed by a young genius. Lin Wuti? Did you say that Lin Wuti had already become a half-saint? How could this be? When they learned that it was Lin Wuti who had killed the half-saint, they all went crazy. Previously, when Lin Wuti and the Nether King fought on Heaven's Peak, he was only a young person who had comprehended the power of the Tao. Only 1 or 2 years had passed, and he had already become a half-saint? How was this possible? How did the Tao do it? These people were all crazy. The older generation figures were also stunned. One had to know that many of the older generation powerhouses had been stuck in the 9-star Grand Garden for 1 or 2,000 years. However, they had never been able to take that step. But now, there was a young man who could take that step in 1 or 2 years. They could not believe it at all. Even the most monstrous genius could not do it. There must be a secret. Damn it, that kid must have a secret. He might have a way to become a half-saint. In an instant, countless people were shocked. Countless large sects and large family clans were burning with passion as they searched for Lin Wuti. However, they had lost track of Lin Wuti. If a half-saint wanted to hide, they would not be able to find him at all. The Qi clan. The Qi clan's old ancestor was shocked. He did not personally go to the demonic realm. However, when he received the news, he personally went to the scene. When he returned, his mood was extremely solemn. That was because he sensed a familiar aura at the scene of the battle. He thought of that person again. However, he could not believe that the other party had already become a half-saint. The other party had become a half-saint at such a young age. His future achievements were limitless. He was a genius who had the potential to become a great emperor. Thinking of this, the Qi clan's old ancestor took a deep breath. At the same time he asked, "Xiu, have you found any news about young Master Lin?" Qi Xiu shook her head. She could not find anything. Forget it, there was no need to investigate. The old ancestor shook his head. If the other party was really a half-saint, they would not be able to find anything. In an instant, everyone was talking about Lin Wudi. At the same time, a tsunami occurred on Blood Refining Planet. An endless sea of blood surged and the void within 1,000,000 miles shattered. The martial artists on Blood Refining Planet felt their scalps go numb. Damn it, had Patriarch Shuepao gone mad? What was going on? Wasn't he in seclusion? It was said that he would not wake up for 100 or 200 years. Why had he come out in just a few years? The crowd didn't know. They only saw a blood-red figure rushing into the clouds, arriving above the 9 heavens, letting out endless roars. Lin Wudi, how dare you kill 2 of my disciples and destroy my soul fragment? I will tear you to pieces. Patriarch Shuepao roared at the sky. He could not tolerate it, so he decided to kill Lin Xian. Otherwise, he would not be able to continue cultivating in seclusion. Cloud Returning Planet, right? Alright, I'll go there personally and kill you. After Lin Xian killed the Wan family's old ancestor, he took his storage ring and left. He came to an uninhabited mountain range, set up an array and entered. Then Lin Xian began to search through the Wan family's old ancestor's storage ring. Let me see the collection of a half-saint. What do you think? Lin Xian's soul entered. In the next moment he was extremely shocked. He had to admit that the collection of a half-martial ancestor was too rich. Chapter 3186. Lin Xian took a look at those pills. They were all needed by the half-step sage realm. He could use them. He could also use those spirit herbs for cultivation. What about those martial arts cultivation methods? Lin Xian took a cursory glance. He did not care about these. What he cared about now was the comprehension of the Great Tao. Sure enough, the Wan family's patriarch had the comprehension of the Great Tao. There was a stone tablet with the comprehension of the Law of Clouds carved on it. Although it was not words and only an aura, Lin Xian could feel it. And he could clearly sense it. Next, Lin Xian sensed the Law of Clouds. Clouds were formless, shadowless and traceless. They were very similar to wind, so Lin Xian's comprehension of the Law of Clouds increased his movement speed again. Not only that, but his comprehension of the Law of Fire and the power of annihilation also increased. Combined with the Plenilun Seed and the Great Tao Comprehension Scripture, Lin Xian's comprehension of the Great Tao deepened. 3 months later. After Lin Xian came out, he received news that Blood Refining Planet's Patriarch Shuepao was coming to Cloud Returning Planet to kill him. Lin Xian snorted coldly and directly spread the word that he did not need to come. A month later, Blood Refining Planet would personally take the dog's head. Lin Xian's words were executed. Heaven and earth's spiritual energy automatically condensed, forming a decree that did not dissipate for a long time in the clouds. All the warriors in all directions saw it. They looked up and saw the decree left in the sky. They were extremely shocked. Lin Wudi and Patriarch Shuepao were going to fight. This was big news. In an instant the news spread throughout the world. Soon, everyone on Cloud Return Planet knew about it. No one expected Lin Wudi to be so arrogant and take the initiative to kill his way to their door. This news spread to Blood Refining Planet through the ancient path of the stars. Patriarch Shuepao was so angry that he vomited blood. This damn brat was too much. Since you dare to come, I'll make sure you don't return. A month later, on the Great Blood Plains, we will fight to the death. Patriarch Shuepao replied domineeringly. The warriors on Cloud Returning Planet and Blood Refining Planet were all boiling with excitement. 2 half-sages were going to fight to the death. This was definitely a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. Countless people were preparing to head to the Scarlet Plains to watch the battle. After all, they absolutely couldn't miss such a battle. One by one, the grand elders and sect leaders of the major clans and holy lands made their way to Huang Xiaolong. Even the half-saints were alarmed by it. Ancestor Shuepao had been famous for a long time, and he was extremely powerful. He was well known throughout the Blood Refining Planet, and he was an extremely terrifying existence. He wondered if this Lin Wudi would be able to defeat him. It was said that Lin Wudi had killed the old ancestor of the Wan clan. He would definitely be able to defeat old ancestor Shuepao. However, there were also people who snorted coldly. That might not be the case. The Wan family's patriarch was already at the end of his rope. Although he had used a secret technique to forcefully raise his qi and blood, it was still too weak. However, Patriarch Shuepao was different. He was at his peak and his strength was far from what Patriarch 1 could compare to. The supreme elders and sect leaders quickly analyzed the situation. Soon, a half-saint released the news that 500 years ago, Patriarch Shuepao had made a name for himself. At that time, 2 half-saints had died in his hands, and he had suppressed the other two half-saints to the point that they didn't dare to come out of seclusion. One could only imagine how powerful Patriarch Shuepao was. When the news came out, everyone was in an uproar. Patriarch Shuepao was actually so powerful. They were all half-saints, but the difference in strength between them was extremely huge. It was obvious that Patriarch Shuepao was a very powerful half-saint. This time Lin Wudi was really careless. The blood-refining planet was extremely lively at this moment. The battle between Lin Wudi and Patriarch Shuepao had caused a huge commotion, causing the surrounding star realms and extraterritorial geniuses to rush over. In the sky, a stalwart man wearing a yellow robe embroidered with a giant dragon descended. He had the aura of a king. So terrifying. Who was that? That was the extraterritorial genius Jun Wuya. He had comprehended the path of kings. Didn't they see that many of the geniuses around him had submitted to him? What? How could he be so terrifying? Jun Wuya's gaze was calm. There were many geniuses following him. Some of them were willing to submit to him. The other portion had been subdued by his powerful sovereign kings when he fought with them. In short, Jun Wuya's arrival caused a huge commotion. Countless people looked over in his direction. "You're really here." A voice sounded. Jun Wuya turned his head and looked over. His eyes were emitting a piercing light. "It's you?" It was a gentle and beautiful woman. She was Yu Linglong from the Outstanding Scholar Residence. At this moment, Yu Linglong was even more beautiful than before. Moreover, there was a special aura around her that made the hearts of countless young geniuses flutter. "It seems like you're also here for the half-saint battle," Yu Linglong said softly. Jun Wuya nodded. "That's right. It was rare to see a half-life battle. Moreover, it was said that one of them was a very young genius. I can't imagine what kind of genius could enter the half-saint realm at such a young age. Yes, I'm afraid even the North Demon can't do it." "That's right. I don't think that Lin Xian can defeat the North Demon either." It seemed like there were many geniuses on the ancient path of the stars. While the two of them were talking, another figure appeared. "Long time no see, the two of you." As soon as this person appeared, he brought with him a monstrous demonic aura. The surrounding people were so frightened that they quickly retreated. "It's so scary. The Demon King is here? It's close to the power of Tao." The demonic aura was familiar. Jun Wuya and Yu Linglong were stunned. Then they turned their heads to look. Mo. They recognized that the person was Hei Mo from the Outstanding Scholar Residence. However, the current black demon was much stronger than he had been before. He was emitting a piercing aura. It was obvious that he had successfully comprehended the power of Tao. After Hei Mo arrived, he was in high spirits. He looked at Jun Wuya and Yu Linglong with a strong battle intent in his eyes. However, he didn't fight. Instead, he asked, "Are the two of you the only ones here? Where are the others? Is Lin Xian here?" When they were at the Outstanding Scholar Residence, Hei Mo didn't take Lin Xian seriously. However, in the final ranking battle, Lin Xian soared and defeated the North Demon, becoming the number 1 in the Outstanding Scholar Residence. At that time, Hei Mo didn't even comprehend the power of Tao. The gap between them was simply too great. This made Hei Mo feel despair. Later, Hei Mo left the Outstanding Scholar Residence and went to the Fallen Abyss. He painstakingly cultivated there, risking his life in the face of death, and finally comprehended the power of the devil. Now, he was also one of the top experts who had comprehended the power of Tao. In his opinion, his Tao of Demon was absolutely terrifying. He was confident that he could fight Lin Xian. He might even be able to defeat him. Jun Wuya and Yu Linglong frowned. How dare Hei Mo talk to them like that? One had to know that Hei Mo was very respectful in front of them. However, soon the two of them snorted. Chapter 3187. Yu Linglong said in a sweet voice. Lin Xian hadn't come yet and the North Demon hadn't come either. Who knew where Han Fei had gone? So far it should be just the few of us. But don't worry. As long as they are in the nearby planets they will come. After all, a battle between half-saints was rare. I will wait for him here. Hei Mo roared, his eyes filled with arrogance. After meeting Lin Xian he would defeat him with his own hands. More and more people came to the Great Crimson Plains. Many geniuses and experts from the outer regions arrived. The local martial artists of the blood-refining planet had arrived early. All of them were discussing intensely. Tell me, what kind of person is Lin Wudi? Yes, he is too bold. How dare he challenge Patriarch Shuepao? Patriarch Shuepao had been a half-saint for hundreds of years. He was a veteran half-saint and was very powerful. Lin Wudi is said to be a young man. I don't know what kind of luck he had to become a half-saint. He is very powerful among the younger generation, but compared to a veteran half-saint, he is nothing. I don't know. I heard that he is from the cloud-returning planet. I heard from the people of the cloud-returning planet that Lin Wudi is not simple. He defeated the Nether King and then killed a half-saint. It seems that he killed both of Patriarch Xuepao's disciples. What? Lin Wudi is so powerful. He is too arrogant. He dares to touch Patriarch Xuepao's people? At this moment, a genius from the cloud-returning planet walked over. He heard the discussion and said calmly, I don't think Lin Wudi will win. From what I know, the Wan family patriarch he killed was a half-saint at the end of his life. Although he used a secret technique to increase his chi and blood, he was not at his peak. Moreover, the patriarch of the Wan family was only at an ordinary level among the half-saints. That was why he was killed by Lin Wudi. However, Patriarch Xuepao is different. As far as I know, Patriarch Xuepao is at his peak and unfathomable. That Lin Wudi probably didn't even have a 10% chance of winning. Everyone was in an uproar when they heard this. He did not expect that Return Cloud Planet's powerhouses would actually bring such news. In an instant, it engulfed the entire Great Scarlet Plains. Was there no chance of winning? Yu Linglong frowned slightly. He Mo, who was beside her, sneered. How could a young man defeat an older half-saint? The law's comprehensions that both sides grasped were different. Yes, I have stayed on the blood-refining planet for a long time. Patriarch Xuepao is infamous throughout the entire blood-refining planet. A flirtatious voice sounded. They turned around and saw Shui Jiyu walking over. At this moment, Shui Jiyu had also comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. You're all here. On the other side, Han Fei also came over. Surprisingly, Huangfu Badian was with him. Looks like these people from our prodigy warrior manor are basically all gathered together. Only the northern monster and Lin Xian were left. I know a little about the northern monster. He seems to have completely left the star field and gone to another star world. I don't think he will come. Han Fei said in a deep voice. As for Lin Xian? I don't know. He seems to be the last to leave. I don't know where he is now. That kid is too arrogant. Perhaps he has died outside. Amo sneered. Bus. Suddenly, there was a suppressive force between heaven and earth, causing the surrounding people to tremble and their blood to freeze. Damn it, what's going on? A half-saint is here. A half-saint is here? Where is he? When this news came out, everyone was shocked. It did not appear, so it should be hiding its aura. However, there was still a trace of half-saint's aura. It was likely that more than one half-saint had come to watch this battle. On the Great Scarlet Plains, a few figures descended. One of them was an old man with a red face and a majestic gait. Beside him was a beautiful woman. It was the Qi family's patriarch and Qi Siyu. Behind them were two elders of the Qi family and the top geniuses. The sect master of the Big Dipper sect and the Grand Elder had also come. At the same time, Gao Ping had also come. On the other side, a figure with a pitch-black body like a demon king descended forcefully, causing countless people to exclaim. His aura was very similar to He Mo's, but upon closer inspection, it was different. The Nether King was here. Countless people exclaimed. The Nether King was very famous in the starry sky. Even on the blood-refining planet he was somewhat famous. At this moment, his arrival immediately caused a commotion. In an instant, many people surrounded him. I heard that you fought with Lin Wudi and lost to him. Is that true? Was Lin Wudi really just a person who had comprehended something close to the Tao at that time? Then 2 years later, how did he become a half-saint? Exclamations of surprise and doubt sounded. Yu Ming shouted coldly, "Get lost." A pitch-black moon appeared on his body, crushing the entire void. Its powerful aura made everyone's scalp go numb. They quickly retreated, no longer daring to be arrogant. Previously, they had been too excited to the point that they had forgotten that this was a terrifying powerhouse. There were a few people beside the Nether King. One of them was wearing a black robe embroidered with a few shining stars. His name was Seven Lights and he came from the same world as the Nether King. However, he was even stronger than the Nether King. At this moment, Seven Lights looked at the Nether King and frowned slightly. Are you sure that the Lin Wudi who fought with Patriarch Xuepao is the young man who defeated you? The Nether King shook his head. I'm not sure, but it should be good. After all, there were not many people who dared to use such an arrogant name. Indeed, this Lin Wudi was really arrogant. The ancient path of the stars was so deep and there were so many geniuses in the universe who dared to call himself invincible. This Lin Wudi was too arrogant. Seven Lights shook his head slightly. Let's see. If it's that person, then I admit defeat. If it's not that person, then I'll accompany you to Cloud Planet. I'd like to see just how powerful the person who defeated you is. How dare he call himself invincible? At this point, Seven Light's eyes exploded with a cold light. Forefather, is Lin Wuti really young Master Lin? On the other side, Chi Siu asked in a low voice. Until now she still didn't believe it. If I'm not wrong, it should be him. Because I felt young Master Lin's aura from the ghost realm. However, I'm only 70% sure. Chi Siu was stunned. She didn't expect that young Master Lin who helped the Chi family was a half-saint. Forefather, does that young Master Lin have a chance of winning? Can he defeat Patriarch Shui Pao? It's very difficult. The Chi family's forefather sighed. Chapter 3188. Hearing this, Chi Siu exclaimed. She really did not know about this. The patriarch of the Chi family continued. At that time, I exchanged 900 blows with Shui Pao and lost. At that time, I was at the peak of my power. What? Patriarch, you lost to Shui Pao? Chi Siu was shocked. The patriarch of the Chi family was so powerful that he was like a god in her heart. However, such a person was defeated by Patriarch Shui Pao? She could imagine how terrifying Patriarch Shui Pao was. If Lin Xian were to fight with such a person, his chances of winning would be very slim. The patriarch of the Chi family sighed. It was normal for a young man to show off his abilities. He probably had to suffer a little before he could put away his pride. But don't worry. If he was really a sage to be, even if he was defeated, it should not be a problem for him to escape. Chi Siu heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that his life would not be in danger. The patriarch of the Chi family looked serious because he still could not believe that Lin Wuti was Lin Xian. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Patriarch Shui Pao had arrived. Everyone raised their heads to look. The sky in the distance suddenly turned red, like a sea of blood that kept surging. In the sea of blood, a figure flew quickly and arrived in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. Buzz. The monstrous smell of blood and boundless pressure surged in the sky like hundreds of thousands of bloody mountains. Everyone trembled under the pressure and felt their scalps go numb. Heavens, is this Patriarch Shui Pao? Many people exclaimed. It was too terrifying. His aura alone was enough to kill a group of geniuses. No one below the sage-to-be level could compare to him. Damn it, Patriarch Shui Pao's aura has become stronger. The patriarch of the Chi family frowned. He was afraid that Patriarch Shui Pao was much stronger than he was 300 years ago. He originally thought that Lin Xian would have a chance of winning, but now it seemed that he did not even have a chance of winning. Patriarch Shui Pao looked around in the sky, his powerful aura surging in the sky. Suddenly he was stunned and stared in a direction. His gaze turned into two rivers of blood, surging and roaring. Immediately the martial artists in that direction were all pressed to the ground, trembling. At the same time they were terrified. Was Ancestor Shui Pao going to attack them? Chi Siu, the Chi family's elders, and the Sky Prides felt as though they had fallen into an icy abyss. Luckily, the figure of the progenitor beside them flickered, and the aura of a half-martial sacred encapsulated them. Blood Robe, long time no see. It's been more than 300 years. I didn't expect your aura to become so strong again. The ancestor of the Chi family said indifferently. As soon as he said this, everyone's expression changed. Heavens, from his tone, could it be that he's also a half-saint? Everyone's expression became incomparably interesting. In the sky, Ancestor Shui Pao narrowed his eyes. I was wondering who it was. So it was you, the old ghost from the Chi clan. I heard that you were injured when you fell into the abyss. Are you about to die? Why is it recovering now? I didn't expect that you would actually inquire about me. The old ancestor of the Chi clan laughed. Oh, recovered? Patriarch Shui Pao was stunned. He had heard of the Chi clan's patriarch's injuries. Even a half-step pill saint was helpless. In his opinion, there was no hope for the other party. But who would have thought that the other party would be able to restore it? From the looks of it, the other party must have had a special opportunity. The two half-saints were talking. Their powerful half-saint aura surrounded the area. The entire Scarlet Plain was silent. Was this the might of a semi-sage? Black Demon, Wuxia, and the others trembled and clenched their fists. They yearned for this power too much. In the sky, Ancestor Shui Pao retracted his gaze and asked coldly, "Is Lin Wuti not here yet?" His voice reverberated throughout the land, but no one responded. Seeing this, Ancestor Shui Pao snorted coldly and sat down cross-legged in the air. The blood sea surrounded him. Everyone else braced themselves and waited here. However, after waiting for a long time, they still didn't find any trace of Lin Wuti, which made everyone a little impatient. Damn it, what's going on? Could it be that the kid wasn't coming? Maybe he was boasting before, but after knowing how powerful Ancestor Shui Pao was, he was too scared to come. What's going on? We traveled thousands of miles across the starry sky to come here, but he doesn't dare to accept the challenge? Some people were very dissatisfied. However, there were also some powerful elders who snorted coldly. Young man, don't you have any patience? Let alone a day, even if you wait a year, so what? Yes, didn't you see that Ancestor Shui Pao didn't say anything? Everyone looked at the sky and found that Ancestor Shui Pao was motionless, as if he was asleep. Well, let's wait a little longer. Many people gritted their teeth. After all, they had put in a lot of effort to come here. They couldn't just leave like that. Young Master Lin, please don't come. Qi Xiu prayed in her heart. To be honest, she didn't want Lin Xian to come at all. However, the Qi clan's patriarch raised his eyebrows and looked at the sky in the distance. He's here. As soon as he said that, everyone around was shocked and spread the news in all directions. Everyone knew that the other party was here. In the next moment, countless people widened their eyes. Their gazes were like rainbows that pierced through the void and stared into the distance. Is he here? Is that Lin Wudi really coming? Is he really from the younger generation? Could it be that he's an old monster who looks younger? Exclamations came one after another. What? He's here. Qi Xiu was stunned. She didn't expect her prayers to be useless. On the other side, Jun Wuya, Heimo, Yu Linglong and the others also looked over. The Nether King and Seven Lights also looked up. In the sky, a figure descended. He was very fast and arrived in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. It was a handsome young man in a red robe. His black hair was like a waterfall that fluttered in the wind. He didn't emit a sharp aura like Ancestor Shui Pao. In fact, no one could even sense his aura. Unfathomable. It's him, it's really him. The Qi clan's patriarch's eyes flickered. The Nether King's side was shocked. Although he already knew that it was Lin Wudi, he still couldn't accept it. The most surprised people were Jun Wuya, Heimo, Yu Linglong and the others. They looked at the figure in the sky with their eyes wide open. Their minds were blank. Isn't that Lin Xian? Like I said, this kid won't not come. That's not right. He's not here to watch the battle, but to accept the challenge. What? That's impossible. Could it be that he's Lin Wudi? They were all dumbfounded. Impossible. Heimo was the first to scream. What a joke. How could that guy be Lin Wudi? Lin Wudi is a half-saint. Lin Xian is already a half-saint? How long has it been? Not only Heimo, but Yu Linglong, Jun Wuya, and Han Fei also couldn't believe it. Chapter 3189. After Lin Xian descended from the sky, he looked at the blood-red figure in the distance and said coldly, "You are Patriarch Shui Pao?" Boss. Patriarch Shui Pao opened his eyes. As his eyes opened and closed, the 9 heavens and 10 lands shook. He was also carefully observing Lin Xian and was extremely shocked. He was too young. He couldn't imagine that such a young person would be a half-step sage. But soon he stopped thinking about it. So what if he was young and a genius? Today he would kill him with his own hands. Kid, you killed my disciple and destroyed my soul fragment. You must die. Kneel down now and I can leave you a complete corpse. Otherwise, I will turn you into one of the 3,000 rivers of blood. You will never be reincarnated. Just you? I'm afraid you can't do it. Lin Xian took a step forward. The aura on his body suddenly burst out and turned into a shocking divine sword that shot into the sky. The terrifying flames lit up the entire sky. At this moment, Lin Xian was unstoppable. As soon as the aura was released, all the surrounding geniuses trembled again. The power of half a lifetime. The Qi family's patriarch's eyes burst out with a piercing cold light. Qi Xiu, who was next to him, was stunned. On the other side, the Nether King, 7 luminaries, Yu Linglong, Heimo, and the others were extremely shocked. The power of a half-step sage. Impossible. He had the power of a half-step sage. He was a half-step sage. These people were going crazy. Lin Xian was a half-step sage. This was beyond their understanding. They remembered that when they left the House of Extraordinary Warriors, Lin Xian had only comprehended the power of Tao. But now he had become a half-step sage. The speed of his improvement was too fast. They had never heard of any monster who could cultivate at such a speed. Heimo's body trembled and his face was extremely pale. This kind of irresistible fear once again shrouded him. Previously, during the ranking competition at the House of Extraordinary Warriors, Lin Xian had grasped the power of Tao. At that time he had this kind of fear and despair. Since then he had gone through countless life-and-death battles and finally comprehended the power of Tao. In his opinion, he could finally avenge his humiliation and even defeat his opponent. However, when they met again, he noticed that Yangming had already left him in the dust and became a half-saint. This was a kind of despair. From now on, Heimo would live in Lin Xian's shadow for the rest of his life. In the sky, Ancestor Xuepao's eyes shone brightly. I didn't expect you to really be a half-saint. No wonder he dared to be so arrogant. Patriarch Xuepao rose to his feet, and as he did, the 3,000 seas of blood behind him began to roar. However, you really don't know life from death. There are strong and weak half-saints as well. You have no chance of winning against me. Today I will kill you with my own hands. A terrifying voice resounded throughout the world, causing everyone to tremble. Indeed, they were all semi-sage experts. However, there was a difference in strength between them. There was no doubt that Patriarch Xuepao was a very powerful half-saint. There's no point in talking anymore. Make your move. Let me see how strong you are, Patriarch Xuepao. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He could feel his blood boiling. Ever since he became a half-saint, he had not used his full strength. Previously, Patriarch Wan's blood had dried up. Although he had improved his secret technique, he could not reach the peak. Therefore, in that battle, Lin Xian did not use his full strength. Today's battle with Patriarch Xuepao was something that Lin Xian had been looking forward to for a long time. He wanted to properly test his strength and see just how strong he was now. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Tens of thousands of rays of blood-red light bloomed from Patriarch Xuepao's body, sweeping across the entire world. He was like a blood-red demon king, displaying his powerful strength at this moment. Between heaven and earth, the sea of blood roared and engulfed Lin Xian. Too scary. Retreat quickly. The surrounding geniuses and experts who were watching the battle frantically retreated. They had no choice. They did not expect Patriarch Xuepao to display such a terrifying aura as soon as he appeared. The precept fragment could easily kill them. Good timing. Lin Xian roared. His black hair danced wildly, and his eyes shone with a cold light. His fist was like a sun dancing in the sky. Everywhere it passed, the sea of blood burned. Their precept fragments collided in the air. Every strike was like a clap of thunder. With a wave of his hand, everything within 1,000,000 miles turned into chaos. A terrifying black hole appeared as if it was going to swallow everything. It's too scary. Other than the Qi family's patriarch and a few other hidden half-saints who could remain calm, everyone else was pushed 5,000,000 miles away. The entire Scarlet Plain was overturned in an instant. He was actually this powerful. Nether King was shocked. Beside him, Seven Radiance's face was extremely ugly. Previously, he had been dismissive of Lin Wuti, but now that he thought about it, he was so stupid that it was scary. A wisp of Patriarch Xuepao's aura could probably kill him easily. He's too strong. I'm afraid we won't be able to catch up to him in this lifetime. Jun Wuya smiled bitterly. Yu Linglong's mouth also twitched. Lin Xian had now become a mountain in front of them that they would never be able to cross in their lifetime. After one strike, Lin Xian and Patriarch Xuepao separated. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. Sword light surrounded him, making him look like a sword god. On the other side, Patriarch Xuepao's 3,000 blood seas surged. The terrifying precept of blood suppressed the world. However, his face was a little serious. Kid, you have some skills. You can actually block my strike. However, that was just my probing attack. I'm going to be serious now. As he spoke, he waved his hand. The 3,000 blood rivers behind him, together with the precept of blood, charged forward. They turned into 3,000 blood-colored long blades and exploded in front of him. 9 suns opened the sky. Lin Xian's fist seemed to turn into a divine light. It had the power to split the world apart. The precept of fire burned. It could burn everything in the world. The precept of blood was monstrous. Wherever it passed, everything turned into blood. Even 5,000,000 miles away, the elites felt their blood boil. It was as if they were about to escape from their bodies. They were so frightened that they hurriedly used their power to firmly seal their blood. At the same time, they frantically retreated. On the other hand, the precept of fire was violent and destructive. Could burn everything. The entire world was covered in flames. It seemed that even the precept of blood was about to be burned. Lin Xian struck out with the blazing Qilin sword. Dazzling light burst out from the long sword. It seemed to have turned into a huge blazing Qilin in his hand. The 13 green lotus swords, a sword to the heavens. Lin Xian waved the blazing Qilin sword. The precept of fire danced and turned into an eternal light. When the sword struck out, it could destroy the world. He struck out 13 streaks of sword chi in succession and collided with the 3,000 blood rivers. Between heaven and earth, terrifying energy surged and surged. It was too terrifying. Everyone closed their eyes. They did not dare to look. Some of the elites who had comprehended Tao wanted to force their eyes to look. As a result, their eyes bled and they screamed. Chapter 3190. Boom. Boom. After a fierce collision, the blood river was destroyed and the 13 swords slashed open a vacuum. Lin Xian struck out with his sword again, and a fire qilin charged towards Patriarch Xue Pao with blazing flames. Get lost. Ancestor Xue Pao roared in anger. He did not expect his blood saber to be broken by Lin Xian, which made him furious. In the next moment, his blood river covered the sky as if it could destroy the world. It wanted to refine the fire qilin alive. In Lin Xian's body, the great dragon sword soul roared and the fire qilin sword seemed to come alive and turned into a divine beast. Buzz. The great dragon sword soul exploded and shone with a cold light. Lin Xian's aura became terrifying again. With a roar, the long sword rushed out and smashed the blood palm, engulfing Ancestor Xue Pao. The sword became an eternal immortal light as if it had experienced endless years. There was a deafening sound and a figure flew out. Patriarch Xue Pao's body was smashed into smithereens, and his internal organs were all gone. The attack had injured him. With a boom he flew out 3 million miles and smashed through the void. The blood of a half-saint fell and pierced through the blood plains. Between heaven and earth, there were cries of ghosts and howls of wolves. It was a scene of destruction. What? Ancestor Xue Pao was injured? The Qi family's patriarch and the others exclaimed. Hearing this, the others opened their eyes. Indeed, the terrifying light had disappeared and the huge crack between heaven and earth was shocking. Ancestor Xue Pao's body was smashed and he was terrified. When these people saw this scene, they were all scared silly. Xue Pao ancestor was actually injured. How was this possible? They were going crazy. They had heard too many legends about Ancestor Xue Pao. It was said that he had killed 2 half-saints 500 years ago. Moreover, he had forced the other 2 half-saints to stay put. What a powerful and terrifying existence. 500 years later, the other party's strength would definitely rise to another level, reaching an inconceivable level. Therefore, in their opinion, Lin Wudi was no match for Ancestor Xue Pao. But now, after exchanging a few blows, Patriarch Xue Pao was pierced through by the sword. Although this sword strike wasn't enough to kill a half-sage, the impact of this strike was simply too shocking. This Lin Wudi was too terrifying. He was a young genius. Who would have thought that he could injure Patriarch Xue Pao? What kind of divine ability law did he cultivate? The law of fire. Furthermore, his sword also appeared to be extraordinary. It was actually able to transform the fire qilin into something so realistic. That's not all. Why do I even hear a dragon's roar coming from his body? Exclamations rang out one after another. Even the patriarch of the Qi clan and the other half-saints were bewildered. There were simply too many secrets on Lin Xian. Brat, I didn't expect you to be able to injure me. Progenitor Xue Pao arrived from the rift 3 million li away. With every step Mei took, his body recovered a little. Very quickly he recovered to his original state without a trace of damage. Not only that, but his aura was even more terrifying. I've underestimated you. The law of fire, the dragon's roar, and the qilin sword. I didn't expect you to have so many Dharma treasures. You've achieved so much at such a young age. You're really amazing. However, it's a pity that you're too arrogant. Of all things, you shouldn't have challenged me. You shouldn't have challenged me on the blood-refining planet. If this battle had taken place on the cloud-returning planet, you might have been able to survive. But now, on the blood-refining planet, you'll die without a doubt. Having said that, Patriarch Xue Pao roared into the sky. 3,000 li of blood suddenly rushed into the blood-refining plains below. Strong power and endless crimson light filled the sky. What was going on? The surrounding people were stunned. Why didn't Patriarch Xue Pao attack Lin Wudi? Why did he attack the ground below? They couldn't understand. However, the other patriarchs and the other half-saints' expressions changed. Oh no, could the rumor be true? What rumor? Qi Siyu and the others were surprised. The Qi clan patriarch quickly retreated. It was rumored that the blood-refining plains were not simple. It was a pit of tens of thousands of people. In ancient times, an earth-shattering battle had taken place here. Hundreds of millions of people had died here. Even half-saints had fallen here. Their blood had merged with the ground, causing it to be covered in the color of blood from beginning to end. It had never changed. It was said that the souls of hundreds of millions of people had been suppressed in the blood-refining plains. They had thought it was just a rumor. Now, looking at Patriarch Shuepao, it seemed that the rumor was true. He wanted to trigger the hundreds of millions of people suppressed in the blood-refining plains. As he spoke, the Qi clan patriarch led Qi Siyu and the others a few million miles away. The other half-saints also retreated. They didn't dare to be careless. After all, the rumor was very terrifying. Within 5 million miles, only Patriarch Shuepao and Lin Xian were left. "Kid, it's time to taste the gift I've prepared for you." Patriarch Shuepao laughed. "Come out." 3,000 rivers of blood rushed into the sky, creating a black hole in the blood-refining plains. Countless roars came from below, making people's hair stand on end. Oh my God, what was that? Those who were watching the battle from afar were terrified. The sound of his laughter was simply too terrifying. Buzz. In the next moment, countless blood-red figures rushed out of the pitch-black hole. They all roared at the sky like demons. There were blood-red tubes on their bodies and blood-red runes between their eyebrows. Obviously, they were all controlled by Patriarch Shuepao. "Aha, kid, did you think I didn't prepare for this when I chose to come to the blood-refining plains? Now you can go to hell." Patriarch Shuepao formed a seal with his hands. Thousands of blood-red creatures rushed out crazily. These were vengeful spirits that had existed for countless years. They were really vicious. Even those who were close to the Tao would be torn to shreds in an instant. Even a half-saint would die if surrounded by so many vengeful spirits. In an instant, Lin Xian was surrounded by countless vengeful spirits. The strong and cold aura wanted to tear him to pieces. "How can mere vengeful spirits do anything to me?" Lin Xian laughed. The flames on his body rushed to the sky and covered all the vengeful spirits. But it didn't work. The vengeful spirits had the law of blood on them. It shone and blocked the law of fire. In front, Patriarch Shuepao laughed. "Kid, these are not ordinary vengeful spirits. Under my control, your law of fire can't hurt them." Chapter 3191. Whoosh. Patriarch Shuepao's small flame world started to burn. Not only that, cracks started to appear on it and they were getting bigger and bigger. What? That Lin Wudi could still increase his strength? How did he do it? Could it be that he hasn't used his full strength yet? The surrounding people went crazy when they saw this. "Do you think that your world of blood still has the right to be arrogant in front of my sword of law?" Lin Xian was like a sword emperor walking in the air. Patriarch Shuepao's face turned pale. His body started to tremble slightly. How could this be? The blood world that he was so proud of was split apart by his opponent. Suddenly, Patriarch Shuepao let out a sigh. "I didn't expect you to have such strength. It really surprises me. It seems that I've been in seclusion for so many years that I didn't know that a genius like you has appeared." Those who were watching from afar were shocked when they heard Patriarch Shuepao's words. Was Patriarch Shuepao praising his opponent? But what time was it? Why would Patriarch Shuepao say something like that? But soon they understood. Patriarch Shuepao's words changed. "You're strong, but it's impossible for you to defeat me. I didn't want to use some of my divine powers, but they're forbidden arts. Once I use them, I'll be able to kill my opponent, but I'll also be affected. It might even take a few hundred years for me to recover. But today I have no choice but to use them against you. Kid, you can be proud that you've forced me to use my divine powers." Following Patriarch Shuepao's words, the 3,000 blood demons rushed over from all directions and entered Patriarch Shuepao's body. Buzz. Patriarch Shuepao's body suddenly grew taller, as if he had turned into a blood-red saint. His aura also increased rapidly and it seemed to be suppressing Lin Xian. Blood demons as one. The 3,000 blood demons were refined by Patriarch Shuepao using the blood of countless experts and the blood law for thousands of years. Each of them was extremely powerful. Even Patriarch Shuepao didn't dare to absorb all 3,000 blood demons into his body. That was because even though he could obtain great power, he would still be devoured by the blood demon. However, he couldn't care less about that now. As long as he could kill his opponent, it wouldn't matter even if he had to go into seclusion to recover for 100 years. It was all worth it. Blood demon returns to origin. At this moment, Patriarch Shuepao stood tall in the sky like a peerless blood demon king. Waving his hands, countless blood-colored runes shone in all directions, gradually covering the entire sky. From tens of millions of miles away, one would find that this was a blood-red ball of light that directly enveloped Lin Xian and Patriarch Shuepao. The area within a radius of 3 million miles had turned into a sealed space. Not good. After Patriarch Shuepao absorbed the 3,000 blood demons, the blood world became so big. Was he trying to kill Lin Wudi by force? What? Are you saying that Lin Wudi has entered his world of blood? Several half-saints cried out in alarm. The Qi clan's patriarch's expression changed. The surrounding people were stunned. From the looks of it, Lin Wudi was once again in danger of being defeated or even possibly killed. How could he still have a trump card? They had to admit that they had indeed underestimated him. But so what? It was time to end it now. Facing Patriarch Shuepao's trump card, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. A second force appeared in his body. It was the power of annihilation. The power of annihilation had not yet formed the Dharma fragments, but after Lin Xian used the Dragon Sword Soul, it was different. The power of annihilation was very close to the Dharma fragments. The power of annihilation was combined with the Dharma of fire. This made Lin Xian's sword of the Dharma more powerful. Buzz. After a loud dragon roar, Lin Xian waved his arms. With a boom, the sky fell and the earth cracked. It's useless. Die. Blood Demon Disc of Annihilation. Seeing that Lin Xian was about to attack, Patriarch Shuepao roared. His blood world turned into a blood-colored disc, mercilessly crushing. He wanted to crush Lin Xian into a bloody mist. With a clang, Lin Xian's sword slashed on the blood-colored disc, making a shocking sound. The blood-colored disc trembled slightly, but soon it fell again. Useless kid, you can't break it. Patriarch Shuepao was very confident. If he couldn't break it with one sword, what about 2 or 3? I don't believe that he won't break. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a piercing cold light, and his arms continued to wave. He slashed out 99 times in a row. Damn it, how is this possible? Patriarch Shuepao's eyeballs almost fell out. Isn't this a divine skill? His opponent had already run out of power with one sword. How could he slash out 99 times? Isn't his power exhausted? Can his body bear it? He didn't know about any of this. He was now facing the terrifying attack of 99 swords. The sword chi collided with the blood-colored disc, directly cutting it into pieces. 30 sword chi. Patriarch Shuepao's blood-colored world was shattered. Facing the remaining dozens of sword chi, Patriarch Shuepao's scalp tingled. No. He screamed, turned around, and fled. In the distance, the patriarch of the Qi family and others were also stunned. What a divine skill this was. How could he resist the 99 swords of the law in a row? Patriarch Shuepao might not be able to resist at all. The other half-saints were also trembling. Patriarch Shuepao tore the void crazily, but the remaining dozens of sword lights firmly locked onto him. Eventually he was enveloped. No. Patriarch Shuepao roared, and his body suddenly turned into a bloody mist, spreading in all directions. As a half-saint, he had many means of escape. Turning into mist was one of the most powerful means of escape. After turning into mist, his body became invisible. Ordinary attacks would not be able to harm him. Even if some of it could be destroyed, so what? As long as a trace of mist escaped, Patriarch Shuepao could reform his body. This was the advantage of being a half-saint. A real saint could be reborn with a drop of blood. Therefore it was very difficult to kill a saint. Although Patriarch Shuepao was not a real saint yet, as long as he had some bloody mist to escape, he could be reborn. Damn you kid, I'll remember this. One day I'll kill you with my own hands. Patriarch Shuepao's vicious voice rang out. His escape this time had greatly damaged his vitality. He would not be able to recover for at least 100 years. But he swore that when he became stronger, he would kill Lin Fan with his own hands. How dare you threaten me now? Do you think you can escape today? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.